pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there anyone for public comment? Public comment. Nick and Linda Pika. Oh, there you go. Your turn of public comment. Public comment time of the meeting.
Oh,
You
okay.
signed up for public comment.
Yeah, why, just stand.
You can go the podium. We normally do the podium, but the microphones ain't
Yeah,
working
working.
anyway. So if you're good just sitting there, I think we can hear you.
Oh, okay, well, I'll stand up.
Okay.
The reason we're here is, I found out via the grapevine that the township is no longer going to plow and salt the road that I live on because it's a one-lane road.
Oak Lane.
Oak Lane, it is paved, okay? And even the street below me, House Street, again, it's a one-lane road.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to my neighbor, she said, they're not gonna plow and salt my street either. Well, my question is,
Why?
as far, waste management will only pick up garbage if the road is cleared, okay? So how are we supposed to get our garbage picked up if the road is not plowed and cleared? On Oak Lane, there are no cars to hit. Everybody has off-street parking. So I talked to Ken, and he said, you know, it's a liability issue, but Oak Lane, we all have off-street park, there's nothing to hit. Okay, but my question is, when were we gonna be told about this? And it's gonna be a hardship. My husband and I are both retired, we're on fixed income. The lady that lives 2 doors down from us, she's a widow, she's on fixed income. If we have to do this ourselves, I looked it up, it can cost almost $1,000 a season. We don't have that kind of money. So my question is, what are we supposed to do?
So
The other thing too, man, that road's only about 1,000 foot long, if it's that. I don't see what the issue is.
I was made aware of this a couple days ago. I think you guys called and I was just in the other room when he explained to me the call. So Oak Lane, is Oak Lane the one that has the gate at the end too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So unfortunately, the township never adopted your street, and so it's a private lane. There is an issue with the width of the lane and the width of the plow and the gate at the end with no turnaround and the backing up that vehicle in the, so it's not on our liquid fuels map. It's not adopted by the township. They're saying that it's a 10-foot lane with a 9-foot plow on the truck.
That's Howell Street.
Can I make,
And no turnarounds come back down.
the garbage truck backs up through there, twice as big as that truck. Twice as wide with a box on the front of it. And I give him his Christmas money. He's happy to come back here. He never said anything to me about not being able to get back here. We're talking about the triaxle, literally. 3 times as much big as a little dump truck.
Ken, there's a gate at the end of this road?
Remember the folks that were here?
Well, then he's just not going to have to close the gate.
Who's has the gate?
That gate's been there for 15, 20
Well-
years. I don't understand what the problem is. The gate's never been closed.
Somebody had come to us a few months ago about the gate being closed all the time now and the backing up and hitting their vehicles.
I'll talk to him.
And we looked into, can we force them to open the gate? And we couldn't because we don't own the road to stop them from putting the gate at the end. So it was like a catch.
Well, if the gate's the issue, I'll talk to this guy.
Kenny, you had some issues with this road, on the road?
There's 2 private lanes in El Rima that are thin with vehicles parked on them.
There's 3.
3.
There's Houck Street. That's the first one on the left past the fire hall. We've been doing that. If you plow that down, you got to back all the way out.
That street's not very long
There's-
either. You can't back out of there, you're gonna deserve to drive a truck.
Well, the thing is, when it's snowing, you can't see out of the mirrors. The plows are 9 foot. The garbage truck is only 8.
Those are,
And if I go with a big truck, the plows are 10 foot. My biggest issue was when the lady from Ernest Lane called and wanted me to plow her driveway, and it's a lane. And I told her, we don't plow lane. She said, yeah, you do. You plow Oak Lane.
So then that brought it to Oak Lane.
That's why I started looking into it.
That you are doing Oak
And
Lane,
like I got
not doing
Morgan Lane, Ray Lane, Curdy Lane,
all the little private lanes.
all
on
these
the
little
median.
lanes, they're all gonna call us and say, hey, you gotta do ours, you gotta do ours, you gotta do ours.
So you're saying when you didn't do one private lane, they pointed out Oak Lane?
They
and
pointed
how-
out Oak Lane specifically.
And said you're doing Oak Lane.
so on the recorded plans, the two streets, the one up above and below Oak Lane are 50-foot right-of-ways. They're township roads. They're on the liquid fuels inventory. Oak Lane itself on the recorded drawings is a 20-foot wide road right-of-way. The width varies, and we can't see anywhere at the county where Oak Lane was adopted as a township road. That's the research that we've done.
And I brought the map out that we get from the state. It's Oak Lane's not on there.
At one time, Oak Lane hooked on to Howe and Finleyville. That all used to loop around. I don't know who
Paper
cut it
alley. It
off.
was a paper alley.
But at one time, that was all one lane. That was all one road.
How long is, let me stop. How long you been plowing, how long has the township been cleaning, has the township ever paved the road or
No,
not?
the water company paved the road.
The water company paved it?
Yep. Water company paved it.
When did they pave the road?
A few years back.
I don't know.
The
So
water company, I guess, or whoever used to have do the roads down. You ought to know that one,
And
right?
they put the new sewer system.
Don't you know who paved the roads back up when the water company dug up the roads?
With the
I
stone,
wasn't
they put
the zoning
the
officer
water
at the
and
time.
they put the
Okay.
road.
So how long did you live there, Mrs. T.
About 40 years.
How many?
40.
40 years?
Is there an agreement, even if it's for no money, is there an agreement similar to like Scarmese agreement for paving a road that?
Well, let me just ask a couple more questions. How long has the township been doing snow removal?
Since
How long has the township been in the what?
You lived there for 40 years. The
Yeah.
question I have is how long has the township been maintaining that road? When I say maintaining snow removal,
Ever since I was living there. My father-in-law lived there. My father lived there all his life. I don't know how long that was.
so you lived there for 40 years.
Yes.
And you're saying snow removal
Yeah.
services have been there for
It's the only way we got in and
let
out.
me finish. For over 21 years.
Right.
Has the township ever done anything like pave that road in 40 years?
The only time they paved it is when they
We
dug
did
up.
sewer project.
Yeah.
That sewer project, is that the one we did back in 2008?
8.
So in 2008, the townships, Kenny, you're agreeing with that, correct?
Yeah, they put manholes on it, so they had to pave it.
So that's when we did that sewer project with Already. So that occurred in 2008. That's 16. Wait, what's 17 years ago? You know where I'm going with this? Okay. So before that, you lived there. The road had to be every so often. Did the township come through and
They still did it. They did it long before that.
Listen to me.
Okay.
Before 2008, whenever that project was done, did the township go through and pave the road or fill potholes?
They never paved it, but they did plow the road, but they never maintained it. There was nothing really to maintain.
No, that's not. I'm saying by maintain, they did snow removal and all that.
Stick up.
Did they remove the snow?
They removed the snow, yes,
Prior to
every year.
2008?
See the issue.
The logs at the end, we allowed them to close that paper alley there. Not the cul-de-sac, and we didn't know.
So what I'm saying is the second class township
Yeah,
code says basically if you maintain a road for 21 years or more, then basically it becomes, you can assume that control of the road itself. The problem, okay, so we have a couple issues to address. The code, I can't remember what specific section of that chapter talks about that, but I don't believe these people would lie.
No, I don't.
And
believe
Mr.
it.
Bailey, I don't think you lived down there how many years?
Well, probably 30 now.
So the thing about it is, it appears like we have a township road in essence by maintenance and so forth for 21 years.
So that reverts back to the lady that was here a couple meetings ago that wanted that gate removed, and we told her we couldn't because we didn't know the road.
We didn't know, but I didn't know we maintained the road. Let's do this.
We have to get some signs there that they can't park on that road, because it's just not wide enough for him to get around the vehicles that park there during snow.
So a couple of things we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to, that person at the back, it'd be nice to get a cul-de-sac back there somewhere.
They
Do you know
used
this
it.
person? What's that?
They used that to turn around. That property back there, that was Mike Manson's property.
Yeah, it was.
Yes, Mike.
His grandpa's probably actually at one time.
All right, what we'll do is there's lots to digest. Let's continue to do the snow removal. We'll look at taking appropriate steps based upon the second-class township code, based upon the information supplied by Mr. and Mrs. Decash and Kenny Bailey.
What is his question is, what does he do if there's a vehicle parked on this 10-foot wide road?
He's gonna
He can't get around it.
He's gonna go put no parking signs on
Can
both.
we do that? He wanted to know if he could do it, because he.
Do it, and that we're supposed to have an
Because
ordinance.
as of now, it's not our road.
So he didn't know if he could put in no
Well,
parking
it
sign.
is, in essence, it is. If we maintain it for 21 years, then based upon the second-class township code.
I'll do it. I was just told not to do lanes.
All right. So, you're very experienced, Kenny. You know what you're doing. Contrary to what this gentleman said about you don't know how to drive a truck, I disagree. And I think you should apologize to him, by the way, Mr. Decash.
Can we get it that they can turn around back there? They're worried about
Well,
hitting
the guy at the
child,
end,
they're worried
I mean,
about-
I don't barely know the guy. I mean,
Yeah.
when Mike built that new house, he sold it to this gentleman.
Mhm.
He comes in and goes out. I don't even know if he's married. I never seen anybody else but him. But
We
I'm
had
sure he lives at the very end. If he wants to be able to come out of there, because he's got a little car, okay?
Yeah,
I got a pickup truck. I mean, I'm not worried about me getting out
We
of
can
there. I'm
always-
worried about an ambulance coming in and getting me.
We can always pile the snow, make a big wall against
the
it.
initial
There you go.
the initial concern when the person said that you're doing Oak Lane and it's private, then and she lived on a gravel driveway. It's marked as a street, like a lot of people have since 911.
Right.
But then we had the thing of, we had a resident on that street that said an ambulance, somebody was getting picked up by Access, and they couldn't get down there because there was no way to turn around.
Right.
And then another resident came to say that their vehicles are getting hit all the time by FedEx and Amazon, because they come back and they go to turn around in their driveway and they leave.
Well, they back out of there too.
All right.
Yeah. So
They-
then he came and he said, "Can I put no parking? I can't fit through that street, and backing up, I'm afraid I'm going to hit someone's car or some person." And he said, "Can I I got to at least put no parking there if I'm going to get this truck backwards in the winter with a plow on."
All right. So what's the name of this road again, Kenny?
What's that?
What road?
Oakland.
Oakland.
Okay. What are the other two roads that we have issues with?
Holt.
And are we been applying snow there also?
I just got here. And in 2019, when I was here, they were doing it. But how long, I don't know.
We'll have to find out. We'll have to do some research on that situation.
In
It's a driveway.
We don't do driveways.
Like my neighbor has Curdy Lane. The
Right.
only thing on Curdy Lane is Craig Curdy's house. It is a lane. They did that for 911. And if he ever wants to develop his property back there, but it doesn't make it a township lane.
Right.
Nor is he asking, by the way. But we have one, not Oak, but we have one down there that is a gravel driveway to somebody's house, and they want to plow. It has a name.
Howe Street, it's only 10 feet, maybe 12 feet wide. It's very,
Really narrow.
You have
Really
Do
narrow.
you have small trucks like a
I've got the smallest truck we've got down there, but it has a 9-foot plow. And there's cars parked on it.
All right, not on their street though.
No,
On my street.
I don't
House
remember
Street
their
does have
street.
cars parked.
I mean, I do know it. I do know where it's at, and I have done it. I just don't remember if there was cars parked on it.
All right, so why don't you and I talk tomorrow about these other ones? But for their situation, I think I would put signs, no parking signs according to the code, put this up on both sides. Okay?
Well, whenever they called, I did go down and plow it out because in case an ambulance did have to go down there, because I didn't want to throw it on them without knowing about it. I felt guilty, so I told Ron to go down and plow them out, and we didn't leave them stuck.
He just wanted a clarification on what's needed. Is there any way to maybe leave a note for the guy at the end on the gate that ask him if you can access the gate for turnaround to make it?
I
easy for everybody?
don't know the guy, and I've never seen him.
Do you know, Mr. Teacher?
No, I don't know his.
Got the
I don't
very
know
end.
his name.
I believe his first name too is Nick, but I thought of that.
But
Well, I can probably look back in the home sales thing. Maybe the township can send him a letter asking.
Well,
If you know Mike Mann's phone number, you can call him, because he's the one that sold him the house.
Here's what to do. Just go look at the parcel viewer map, find out who it is, and
Send him a letter from the township asking for permission for.
correct. That's all
did
need
you
to
ask
do.
for permission? I mean, I hate to bring this up, but eminent domain, you know, it's for the better of the community, just that.
That
little
takes
thing.
years.
Does it really?
It's a lot more.
It
It's a lot.
years,
a lot of
money.
It would cost a lot more to do that. Than
Okay.
But maybe he'll allow our drivers just to open his gate, turn around, and shut the gate. We're
Yeah,
just
there
trying
you
to
go.
make sure that
I
they
don't
don't hit a
understand why
car.
he closes it anyway. I mean, he's out there by himself maybe, I don't know what he's doing down there.
Yeah, it could be I lived at the end of a street at one time, and it was a dead end street, and everybody it drove me crazy. Every delivery truck, every moving van, everyone on the streets, family that came to visit him turned around in my driveway, kicked rocks everywhere.
Oh, okay.
I get it. I didn't put a gate up, but I really hated it.
But that was another issue I was gonna bring up. Since Oak Lane is technically a dead end,
Mm-hmm.
could we get a dead end sign put? You don't know how many people go down there thinking it's gonna connect to
Somebody
another
vacated
road.
that. Somebody
they're like,
vacated the
This is
paper alley.
exactly is what we have.
Somebody
That's-
vacated the paper alley a couple of years ago or last year.
So that's something down the road.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Anybody else?
So
So we're gonna
work on
put the
gate.
signs up about parking
We'll
and
put the
Palmer Road.
sign up above parking and.
And we'll figure out how to put that on the road docket. So okay. All right. Anything else?
Okay. No, there's nobody else, just the key cabinet. Okay. No public comment. Approval of meeting minutes. December 11th, meeting minutes. Anyone want to make a motion to approve? Carl made the motion, I'll second the motion to approve the meeting minutes of December 11th, 2024. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, January 6th organization meeting. Anyone want to make a motion to approve the organization meeting minutes?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Suzanne made the motion, Carl second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? January 6th, regular meeting. I'll make the motion to approve those. Any second? I'll second. So Michelle and then John second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? January 14th, special meeting. Anyone want to make a motion for, that would be the PCS, no, that's the PCSA meeting
Okay.
about Sea Road.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Carl made the motion, any second? Oh, I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, township reports. Police report, we don't have one yet. Officer's not here tonight. Fire department reports, they're in your packets. I would like to announce that Chief Bailey there has retired from being the chief of the El Rima Fire Department. He is now the fire department's president, so he's still heavily involved, but Mr. Matt Salem, who couldn't be here tonight, is our new fire chief at El Rima Fire Department, and Lenny has stepped up to be the president. I will say they lost their treasurer, passed away in the last, was it about a week and a half ago?
Yeah.
also active fireman for many years. If you would like to say his name and stuff, we can do a moment of silence.
Michael Sedemeyer.
Michael Sedemeyer. If you wouldn't mind to do a moment of silence for a long-standing fire member of the El Rama Fire Department in Union Township and their treasurer. Okay. Engineers report.
Sure, thanks, Michelle. Our office submitted our engineer's report on Monday. The updates to our report are in bold there, so I have a couple further updates to go over with the group. The first on the list is El Rama Central Park Phase 2. I talked to Suzanne briefly before the meeting here. We did get final quotes from our equipment supplier. We voted on this back in November for the purchase price. In the time since then, I sent those quotes to our grant agency just to have them confirm that they were acceptable and there were no issues. They requested that we add a reference to prevailing wages for the labor for the installation onto the quote, and otherwise they didn't have any concerns. So Jeffries and Associates has sent the final quotes over. They're the same monetary value as what we approved before. There are no changes. I think we can move ahead and sign these purchase orders, assuming there's no other questions or concerns from the board. And once we make payment, then we can move ahead to a reimbursement request from the grant agency to get the money back and close out the grant. So we've made good progress with those quotes there. So I did also want to point out with the park that we have some prep work that we need to do down there before delivery. We need to do grading, we need to do some stormwater controls, things that are shown on our design drawings that are outside of the purchase and installation of the equipment itself. So we talked about that briefly, and I think it would be good for myself and maybe Suzanne and Ken to get together to go over those responsibilities there and make sure we have a site that's ready for the delivery of the equipment when it's purchased and dropped off. So I've given Ken a copy of those drawings before. I think the board has copies of those drawings, so it'd be good to get together and organize on our end, and then also maybe coordinate with the equipment manufacturer and make sure we have everything covered for that project when that equipment arrives. It'll be about probably 10 to 12 weeks once we make the purchase.
You met reference prevailing wage, is that any pertains to the equipment? Well,
That's primarily for the installation. The
Grant money, they want prevailing wage.
yeah.
I understand.
So the
how it
equipment
operates.
purchase is a CoStar's purchase, so it's
Has to be prevailing wage, so we could do the preliminary stuff in-house.
correct. Yeah, outside of the actual purchase and the installation there, I think we can do the rest of the work.
No, I do too, I just didn't know whether your statement conflicted with us using our own people.
No. The rest of the work is considered a local
So
match.
are you asking for the go-ahead or anything? Like, Suzanne's
No,
been the
I-
point person, so
Yeah.
I'm good with you sticking with her, and she can relate to the board if there's any further needs or
Yeah.
anything.
We already
Yeah.
voted on the purchase price, so.
I meant as far as like what you're doing with the road crew to lay it out and stuff like that, I think she can just keep us abreast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think between Janice and Suzanne and myself and Ken, we can make sure that
Yeah.
we're prepared. So yes, we have grant money. It's just over $70,000. The purchase price is $91,000 and some change. We have a 15% match.
We have the 50,000 that we got back from phase one
Right.
that we dedicated to this project.
Correct. So to utilize the grant money, we'll be purchasing the equipment on CoStars with installation at prevailing wage. So that's the way that would work. Just so everybody's clear.
But all the prep work in-house.
Yep, exactly. Okay, so next thing on the list, we met with EQT on Monday. Our office has done the pre-use inspections for the heavy hauling agreements, Dennis. There were 7 of them, 7 roads that they're getting heavy hauling agreements for. So we will finalize those inspection reports and issue the permits for that project. That was my takeaway from that meeting.
I think the gentleman at the very end of the table, the guy that seems somewhat caustic, I think he wanted an updated report. So,
Well, he wasn't sure when it was done, and he was I
Well, he
noticed
seemed-
that they requested in October. It wasn't, they didn't even, I don't know how well they can inspect them now, they're covered in snow.
well, I know, but he was being somewhat caustic, so.
Maybe send them an email and say the exact dates that you did
Sure.
the inspection, and then throw it in their hands. Is this good?
I
To
don't
go
think,
with these dates?
I don't think it'd give you any headache, but
Oh, you don't?
Yeah, I guess I was planning on just submitting the reports that we have. I mean, they made an application, we inspected the roads, and I think we can process them, for lack of a.
I think
And
we'll buy
then
that too, Jan.
Janice, I believe, has the checks, because we were holding up on processing until we got a better understanding of the water line, so.
Right.
and we don't, I think we just put the checks on thing. Also, I looked at your report of conditional use, we analyzed it from our perspective. I don't think we have to go through that process. The
Yeah.
impact is not as great as I thought it was going to be.
I saw your
So-
memo about that.
So I can process the checks?
Well, I don't know if she's processing the checks for road opening too, or we come in, there's
No,
checks
I
for
think,
both things.
no, checks for the, I'm talking about the HHA.
There's also checks for road opening, that's what we're still trying to determine.
In terms of the road cut, we need to have an agreement and the insurance put in place first.
Yeah. Okay,
So heavy hauling ones are good.
good. We'll take care of them. Okay, moving through the rest of the engineer's report here.
I'm sorry, but I don't want to get sick.
So MS4, we talked last meeting about the potential rain garden at Cardox Road. So, since our meeting, Mr. Higgins is here tonight. He was, the surveyor who prepared a survey of the Trax farm there, which he shared with me, which shed some light onto the property situation there. So, our conclusion at this point is that it's Mr. Trax's property, not Mr. Cant's property. So Mr. Trax has expressed to us that he's not in favor of the project, and I think it would be beneficial to look at a potential alternate location. So,
Did you get, he should provide you the information?
yeah, the surveyor who did the Trax farm
Yeah.
survey provided me a copy,
Okay.
and we verified that where the line is located. So I think that answers that question. We're going to need to find an alternate location, but probably we can't go with our first option. So just passing that along.
Okay.
And then the only other thing I have to report on, January 15th was last Wednesday. Bankson went to the project briefings for the Washington County local share account grant applications. The board had a couple questions. We answered them pretty straightforward, and I thought the briefings went well. If history is any indication, we'll probably get a grant announcement at some point in February. And along those lines with the grants, I put together a summary of the applications that we made last year for these different grant programs, and I gave a copy to Janice and I gave a copy to all 5 of you. So we should know where we stand in terms of the applications that we.
You still need to find the mitigation request in
Yeah.
Veterans Park.
Yeah, we'll need to add those to the list, Larry. If we have, I can put on what I know about them with the limited info that we have. But if there's a file here, if Janice wants to add into the
Yeah.
schedule, that'd probably be best.
Diana said it's in her office, the secretary office in some file,
Yeah, I think I know what I'm doing.
There were 2 grants that we applied for, not we, that the township applied for that Bankson wasn't involved with, so I don't have any details on those. But that's it. The rest of the items that I would like to discuss on the agenda, so I have nothing else to report, unless there's any questions. Thanks, Michelle.
Any questions?
No.
Zoning and code code report, it's in your packets. Did anyone have any questions for Tammy?
I do. Your email about EQT and the trailers,
Yes.
you seem to feel, and I do support you on that there is an obligation for them to provide or permit or whatever the case is, right?
Correct, if they're habitable structures, which I understand that they are, they meet the building code, they're not exempt. And I even spoke to I don't have her title, she's new, but she works for state level of the Uniform Construction Code to confirm my opinion. And I confirmed with another third party how they handle it, and he actually said we just experienced the same thing in these bunkhouses, and they got permits, but it was not EQT, it was a different.
Yeah, another vendor.
I think they were pretty sure that you were right anyway, because somewhere along the line, he said, well, let's say I concede to that, how long would it take to get those? So I don't think he would have made that offer if he didn't see that you had some footing. Anyone else?
But she did bring up a good question. Do we have a UCC board, appeals board here?
What was your question then?
Do we have a UCC appeals board?
Much like zoning hearing board.
Oh, it's a
It's-
separate
it's-
entity, huh?
Yeah, so you see, sometimes it's a outside firm that you hire.
So, yeah, what we do, like, some townships I represent, they have their own board, and sometimes a municipality doesn't have one, will say, okay, West Pike, we like to use your appeals board, you can do stuff like that. So, we may wanna think at the next meeting to start looking at either creating an appeals board, because we were supposed to do this years ago. And I thought we had one my first time around, what do I know? If we
Mr.
don't,
Montgomery,
Yes,
Jefferson have a UCC
They do.
appeals board?
They
Look,
do.
we can maybe reach out to them.
see from
He's from Andrew Kuzma's office here to do a presentation, but I know he lives in Jefferson, so I thought I'd
yeah,
just ask.
we did create one, and, you know, they don't do anything, so
It-
you
it-
can
it-
sell people on that, it's a good job to have if you don't do anything.
I've seen,
For
I've
years.
For
been,
years, you know,
Years.
I've only been involved 2 hearings, maybe 3 hearings since they passed that law. So-
Could they just have the board of
Well, we could do is,
supervisors
what we
it?
would do is we'd contract with Jefferson Hills to use your appeals board.
Oh, okay. We'll see what they,
if they
If
want
we
to hear
need-
it, if we do want to hear it.
Or we could have our own. Okay?
okay.
Okay, administrative report. Hey Ken, I have one question real quick. Is your public works report gonna be long?
Huh?
Is your public works report gonna be long?
I can't hear.
Is it going to be long?
No,
Okay, if it's gonna be long, I just wanted to put Mr. Kuzma's office
no,
before you.
it's gonna be short because a lot of it's later in the
He's already
program.
worked a whole day.
Let's let him go.
Okay, you're up. Public Works Department reports.
Okay. Up on the desk is a list of some of the work that was done last year in 2024. If anybody chooses to get it, they'll see what we did last year. As you all know, we've been doing a lot of plowing and salting, especially the past couple of weeks. These bands coming out of Lake Erie they're relentless. They don't stop. I wanted to bring to the board's attention Stonegate Drive. The road is literally falling apart.
You mean Stone Bridge?
Stone Bridge, I'm sorry.
You don't have a stone gate, so I
Uh,
was checking.
But you got pictures up there. We printed pictures for you to look at that.
I need one for that.
And up at that cul-de-sac, it's real bad. Going up the road, it's like going over the Rock of Gibraltar.
That's by Giant Eagle Penny.
Yes.
This is the issue. So, is there a way to send Tammy back up to the airport? Because this is the same water that came down from the airport.
I want to say that.
The airport,
The airport's
Yeah.
down there.
right.
They were sending water down, diverting water
That's
right in front of
lifted
this
up
guy's
4
house.
inches.
They were to remove those pipes.
But we already had the discussion.
We did.
Some of them
But
put
apparently
8
there's
inches
still
out.
water coming down and upheaving her.
It's freezing and
Is
heaving.
there a way to check to make sure they did remove them? They agreed to remove them, but I don't know
I
if they
think the
did.
person could probably check best if you can. Because he knows more about drain pipes than us.
Do you know if this person in the house in the picture where the road, they still getting water down that hill?
Not right now.
I mean, when it rains?
Whenever it
You
rains.
know that for certain.
I know, I got pictures on my phone of it
So
last
why don't we
year.
do this? Why don't we get back to the file and contact the airport saying you're supposed to do ABC.
Did you do it?
It doesn't appear that you got it. Just according to him, it's still happening.
It's still happening.
This house right here. It comes off that hill behind him. Comes down, goes through his yard.
Remember they put pipes in, keep the runway, and water was coming down here.
I got a video of it.
I think we should send a letter to the airport saying it's still happening. We're still having complaints.
In the spring, whenever the snow melts, I'm gonna go up there and see if there is a pipe.
All right. Well, so you want to wait till the spring to do that then?
Right.
But your
I
main
wouldn't.
problem right
I just.
now
The reason I'm bringing it to your attention is this road's not gonna be there come spring. It's falling apart.
Is there a road base to it?
I don't know what's under it. But here's the thing. That road was just paved in 2018. And it's not, you go up there with a plow and I'm telling Johnny, lift the plow up. Do not scrape the road because I'm afraid he's gonna plow up a section of asphalt.
DJ, is there a base over there?
I have no idea. I would hope so, but I don't know.
We can hope.
It
I
is,
can look at project files from 2018 and tell you what.
this road's only 6 years old. We should get 25 years out, or at least 25 years out
Well,
of
if
the
you
road.
ask them, at least 17, it still looks good.
The Ferrera drawing that we adopted Stonebridge was dated, what, 1998?
Yeah, something like that.
So we probably have some records from construction to see. I would hope.
I don't think we do it. I don't think
Was
we
this
do.
an overlay or a mill and pay, them 18?
No, I think it was a redo because they did all the catch basins up there then. They put
So it
all new
wasn't
catch
just an
basins.
overlay.
I don't know. But it's definitely not staying. The other thing I want to talk about is it's later in the, well, this is another issue. This is Gilmore Road. You got it in your packet there. That water coming off of, I think it's Meadowview, where you live, Carl. That water's not draining out of there. That's a 18-inch pipe, and it's almost completely buried. The ditch that water's supposed to run in is no longer a ditch. It comes right out on the edge of Gilmore. Our biggest issue in this township is the water going on the roads. That's why later in the agenda, you're going to talk about some of these projects. That's why I'm not going to bring them up now, like Jack Street and Dolphy Plan and there's
Yeah, I
a
mean, every problem that we've encountered as a board has been
water
airport, pumpkin center.
related. Airport's got major problems. The other thing is, I want to show you this. This came off of one of our trucks. This is supposed to hold a headlight in. It fell out when we took the cover off. It fell out on the floor along with the light. This is our problem with these trucks. These trucks are 10 to 13, 14 years old. And you look in your packet there, you'll see this corrosion on this wiring. And it's driving me insane because every time we go out, we short something out. It's daily every time we go out because we're working the truck and it's shorting out. I got 2 trucks that are really bad, and I got another 2 trucks that are a little bit better, but not much.
How much man hours a week are you using on maintenance?
Dave works whenever he's not
I
plowing.
mean, on mechanic, not maintenance,
Yeah,
on mechanic.
I'm talking about mechanic. Probably 5 hours a day,
5 hours a day
at least.
for mechanic.
At least.
Plus apparently parts. That thing looks like an archaeology site, kind of headlight.
We came in on Sunday morning at 8 o'clock to work on this, and we discovered a major problem with truck 1. We couldn't even use it. It was deadlined. It was out of service. Couldn't use it.
That's a tough winter. I'm pressing them to the limit.
2025, I want to work on the drainage systems in this township. All of our road problems are due to water, but I'll talk about those later. Other than that, I'm done. Because I do want to talk about Jack Street.
Okay, so when that comes up.
Right.
Okay. Any questions for Ken about what he talked about? He's named for parts of conversation on other agenda items, but. New business. Discussion in motion planning grant. We have a presentation by State Representative Andrew Kuzma's office. I've already apologized to Dave Montgomery here for my spell correct, but it asked him Mr. Kuzma's name. It's supposed to be K-U-Z-M-A.
It's
I was
okay.
humiliated and embarrassed that I did that, but I apologize already. So Carl has been working with State Representative Andrew Kuzma's office about a potential planning grant, and he's asked Dave Montgomery to come in tonight to explain what it's about.
Okay, it's called the PA Sites Grant. It was originated in September of 2020. And what it is, there's two sections, and one's for construction and one's for planning. So what?
Let me clarify first, I forgot to say. They're interested in doing a grant for planning what used to be the Alrama Power Plant. Just to clarify, that's the property that they're interested in doing a grant for planning.
It's a feasibility study for redeveloping that site. Since it's been torn down, it'll create a game plan, like you have for Mitchell. But Mitchell's still there, and it's not easy to redevelop that because the power grid goes through there, and it's a lot of problems. This is cleared out, so they'll figure out the best future use of this property. And I've talked to Dan Albine. He's from the Pittsburgh Chamber of Commerce, and he feels this is this is what they do, is redevelop brownfield sites. And he feels very confident that this is when you get the grant. So it'd be about $50,000 to do this. And you have to hire a planner. I know of a planner that will do it, John Trent. He worked for us in Jefferson for years. He had fallen out with a councilwoman, left, but he does do planning for the state. He does the instruction for the state, and he's an attorney and a certified planner. He'd be good.
So, is there a match? Does it cost the township anything?
From what I understand, no, and Dan will come out and explain it here at the township. You don't have to go downtown or anything. He'll come out and talk to whoever wants to talk to him about it. He feels every time I see him, he says, "What's the township going to do?" I said, "Let me talk to them." And
so they would come and do like a marketing
he would
for that property and maybe develop it into something that would produce jobs.
They'll come up with a detailed description of a proposed planning site. I'm just reading from the law. The specific locations of the site, the known site characteristics, the ownership, the entitlements, and whether the site can be identified as a priority of investment for economic development in the region, and what industry to target. So that's sort of what they do.
So to take like a brownfield property and turn it into something that creates jobs.
He would look at traffic that would flow in there, and whatever else you have. You have river frontage, you have rail frontage, you have all that's there.
That plant sits on both Allegheny and Washington.
Right, and yes, it does.
Majority's in Allegheny, if I remember.
No,
The majority's in
majority's in
our
Washington. You have 90%.
We have 90%.
10% is Jefferson.
So they have to engage with the same gentleman?
Well, we'll start. We're starting with Union because 90% of it's in Union, in Washington County. But being it's multi-county, multi-municipal, then he makes it better in some ways with the state. So I think that from what I saw in the tax records for Allegheny County, because they're on their website, they have never paid taxes.
So
The owners are from Puerto Rico,
company
and
from Puerto Rico
we don't
bought
know
and
who
isn't
they are
paying taxes,
because
at least in Allegheny.
I went down there.
Who's the current owner? You bought that from the utility?
Well, no, the utility sold it to that Gen-On, and there were several
Yeah.
in there that operated the plant, and then they sold it to this Puerto Rican company, because I went down there, Andrew says, go find out who owns this. So I went down and asked the guys tearing it down. He said, well, you have to talk to somebody in St. Louis. And I said, well, what do they know? And he said, well, it's really somebody in Puerto Rico. And it is.
Yeah.
That's what comes up on Allegheny County's website. And they have never paid taxes back to 21. So you probably aren't getting taxes either. So
Yeah,
it's just fallow property.
Our tax collector says we're not. So we're
They
not.
have not paid taxes
Yeah.
probably since 21.
Okay, so they match Allegheny County.
Right.
So it's doing nothing, and it's riverfront property.
And it's an address in Puerto
Tax
Rico.
avoidance or
Yes.
something?
What, you have to go through, you gotta pay the tax, you go through tax sale situation.
So I guess for those reasons, the fact that it's partly in Allegheny, mostly in Washington,
Mostly
partly in
Washington.
Jefferson, mostly in Union, it's not collecting any tax revenue, and it's a brown field that needs cleaned up, and maybe something could happen down there.
So you're saying the taxes have been paid for,
Well, they may be paid, since I can't collect delinquent taxes, Port North Law Associates collects for the school district. The Washington County Tax Claim Bureau collects for the township. They may be paid at that level, because generally it goes up for tax sale
that's what
if
I'm saying.
property's
I'm
not
gonna-
paid for 2 years.
I'm gonna venture to say there maybe not, since they're not paying in Allegheny.
Yeah, but it hasn't also gone up for tax sale.
10% in Allegheny.
Well, but it doesn't, see, you know, it's my understanding of tax law, basically, that even though the parcel may be partly in Allegheny, what is that called, Jefferson Hills?
Jefferson Hills, yeah.
And parts of the thing, you still have to pay their share over to the township.
Correct.
Well, I just looked at Allegheny. Allegheny County itself lists everything.
They have their information
So
online.
it's easy to
so they're
find.
not paying there.
And they were
Or not paying
they were
there.
paid that, so I assume they didn't pay here or anywhere. No.
But again, if they're not paying taxes, like you'll say,
Well, they haven't paid me,
right,
but,
yeah, I'm saying, but they have to go to a tax sale or something with the
and it
town.
hasn't gone on the tax sale, so they may be paying the outside agency that collects our delinquent taxes.
So that's another story for another day.
Yes, right.
But in
The
the,
point of this is, if you're interested, I can give you Dan's number and he can come out and explain it. And I'll come with him. We have, I have someone to help to write grants if you need anybody like that.
Thank
oh,
you, Dave.
so you have a grant person too?
Yeah, Karen
Separate.
Busey helped Diana write a grant for demolition for the Nike Center.
Okay.
So,
There you go, that's the answer, TJ. The mitigation one.
so that's,
So how does the board feel about having, what's the gentleman's name?
Dan Allwine, he's from the Greater Pittsburgh Chamber of Commerce.
What's his name?
Dan Allwine.
Albright?
He was the chief of staff of State Senator Pamela Vino before.
So he's the person who would do all this stuff?
He would explain, he would come and answer your questions in more detail. I gave everybody a copy of this from the state, and then I'll come and help with, we can, and then you apply, and then you wait, see if you get the money.
So we just need a motion from the township to approve submission of a planning grant with the assistance of CUSMA office.
That would be that'd be fine.
I'll make that motion.
So it's on page 2 and 10. That's what-
Okay, so Carl made a motion.
So this is almost like playbooks that they did for.
They did a
different
playbook
things.
for Mitchell Power
But then
Station.
it's too costly
And
to take down.
I even went,
But they did like 6 of those playbooks, and a lot of them turned into stuff.
they can.
Yeah.
The big advantage to this is it's gone. El Reno Power Station isn't there.
So
Yeah, where the Mitchell
Mitchell's still
hard
there.
sell, even with the playbook, because it's costly to take down. And
Yes, yeah. And we went to the Harrisburg.
this is also a smaller property, more marketable in a lot of ways, because what they had did for the playbook for the Mitchell was a cracker plant, a big medical and retail facility. It was a lot of 300 and something acres. It was hard. You'd have to commit to figuring out how to do something with all 300 and some acres and no roadway.
And it's
And
not,
no roadway.
and then there's property in there in the middle of the plant that isn't part of that.
The Nosal Lane property, and yeah.
How much acreage is that all in, you know?
I don't know. But it goes.
Do you know how many acres El Ramo Power Plant used to be?
I know off the top of my head.
I'm almost thinking.
That goes over from the town hall or not?
Yeah, it comes almost up to the back of the fire hall.
Is that ball field and, you know,
It's part of the ball field.
is that the part of the ball field? Okay,
So
so
we're
that
working
goes,
with them to sign that over.
who are you working with? The guys in Puerto Rico?
Yeah, we've been trying to get a hold of them people, and it's very, very difficult.
Yeah, that's what the guys down at Johnson were talking about.
You think maybe they don't wanna pay the taxes, so the township will take it and take care of the contaminations down there too? Cause you don't know it'll be contaminated.
Well, what happened if it goes to a tax, so
Someone buys it
someone
on
has to
sheriff's
first,
sale.
it doesn't come to us immediately.
The school would have a huge thing and
But you're
then.
gonna be contaminated.
Okay, is Jefferson getting involved with the same thing?
Well, I thought I'd come here first, because most of it's a view.
Yeah, it's only like 10% of
They,
it.
all they own is out by the road.
Oh, okay.
They own the roadway going in,
Parking lot.
the roadway and that little parking lot to the left. They own the roadway going in.
But the plant itself and
Correct, the
everything,
plant is in
and
Union.
the ball field's all you.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
West Elizabeth then?
No, West Elizabeth, that's nothing to do with it.
Pardon?
West Elizabeth, you're asking that part of it?
Yeah, the roadway goes in, I'm just asking.
It's all Jefferson.
Like he said, it lines along their
Well,
ball field,
West
the fire
Elizabeth,
station and
it's
stuff.
way down by.
You go all the way to
Speedy,
the chemical plant?
The chemical plant's Jefferson, that's too. Well,
Yeah.
they say they're West Elizabeth, it is.
Mr. Bailey,
Yeah,
what part was the fire department interested in?
what's that?
What part of that?
There's a part in the ball field where our property connects in the back. Part of that ball field is owned by Duke or Gen On.
Or whatever they are now.
Yeah, it's not down by the river.
Well, what I'm saying
It's way
is
up by 830.
if we do the land planner thing, we can always take that into consideration as far as the fire department, you know, cause if you're gonna go a useful thing with it, fire department's useful. You can always tell the land planner to kind of plan for that.
Right.
They look
So
for
let me ask you a question, Mr. Montgomery.
Yes.
Since we don't own the property, and we make this application for this grant, sometimes grants require the municipality to have an interest or own the property. Can we still apply for this grant?
According to Dan Allwine, you can't, because he knows all that. And
He
he
says
says,
we can?
he said you can.
And that kind of would be like the
That's-
playbooks that the Mitchell did, that the Cracker Plant and Beaver
Who
did.
paid for the Mitchell? Does anybody know?
Who applied?
Who played for the Mitchell playbook? Does anybody know? Here?
Who applied for it? Who paid for it? Oh, that was, it was like 3 different, the DP, it was like, almost like the El Rima Park thing, where there was a DP thing because of the cleanup of the toxic site, there was a redevelopment authority in there, and then those playbooks got written by that. The Mitchell one was wrote by the same woman that did the Cracker Plant.
Well,
Beaver.
she works with him.
She works, I met her at a
Yeah,
tasting thing at the Meadows.
So we have to contact the man, or he's gonna get all
Well,
our,
I'll give you the number, or I don't have it with
how
me.
do you wanna do that?
So, does it need to have a motion to move forward with talking to, cause up until we talked to him, he doesn't really have a grant for us to sign, right? There's
Oh,
nothing
no,
here
you'd
today.
have to.
So
So
I guess
then
there's
just-
no motion
Well, no,
today.
then,
It's a conversation, right?
Yeah,
That's all,
then
yeah.
withdraw-
I'm only saying
Carl
I had
withdrew
gone
his
as a motion,
Okay.
Carl did it, I didn't know if we had to
Yeah.
make a motion
Alright.
or not.
So Carl went through the motion, so you'll contact whatever we go for, okay?
Do you want me to call the township tomorrow?
Oh, Janice.
Call Janice, give her, I'll give you his, I'll call him, tell him, or email him.
Yeah, you can just call here, the
And
office.
then I'll give you everything I have for him. Now, he has somebody that actually does these projects around and he went and lobbied Harrisburg for this money, so he wants to get as much of it to Allegheny County and Washington County and the Southwest, that's what they do, so. We don't want Philadelphia to get it all, so.
Just tell them to call me.
Okay.
I guess this was a great option because they fill a category in Allegheny and a category in Washington, a category,
Good
so
political.
one
Yeah, it
property
is.
covers a lot of bases.
Yeah,
And Andrew covers both those areas,
Yeah,
right?
he does, yeah.
Well, thank you, Mr.
You're welcome.
Montgomery.
Thanks.
And thank
Put
you.
a cryptocurrency facility in there.
The co-representative goes when we said thanks
I
to.
will.
B, discussion and motion to approve Weber subdivision plan number 1. TJ.
Yeah.
How'd the planning commission go on that?
So we had our planning commission meeting on Monday night. The the planning commission passed a motion with a recommendation to reapprove the Weber subdivision plan number 1. So I know Mr. Higgins is here tonight. He's the surveyor for this project. And just so we all recall the backstory before I allow Mr. Higgins to give you some background here. This subdivision was previously approved by the Township Planning Commission and the supervisors in March of 2024. There were some contingencies that were attached to that
Like an
approval.
access road
Yeah,
area.
shared access agreement, demonstrating compliance with all of Peters Creek's rules and regulations, and there were a handful of other contingencies from that meeting. Mr. Higgins has been working with Peters Creek to meet with their approval. Evidently, it took some time, and according to the township saldo, if more than 180 days pass between the date of approving the subdivision and the date of recording at the county, the application needs to be resubmitted to the township to have the approval date updated, and then they can go make their recording. So Mr. Higgins came before the planning commission meeting on Monday for his reapproval. That motion and recommendation was granted, which is why it's on our agenda tonight. So Keith, I'll turn it over to you if you want to add any
So
context.
just 1 second, for the audience who's trying to figure out what the Weber subdivision is, this would be the property directly across from the beach house in Mineral Beach, like the property to the left of Tractor Supply
beside
across
Tractor
from the
Yep.
beach house, just so you guys have a reference of what we're talking about. Okay, it's all you.
No problem, thank you. It's very nice coming to these meetings to call Mr. Higgins. It's going around looking for my dad, but I appreciate that, TJ. That's it in a nutshell. It just took so long to get approvals from Peters Creek Sanitary. So we finally have the approvals, but the time, the 180 days ran out. The only difference with the plan that was before you before and now is we added a sanitary easement per Peters Creek. So we're moving forward with a 1 acre parcel on Route 88. No plans. Well, I mean, right behind that, a table in planning is a land development plan. But the subdivision, he likes to move forward with it, get it approved, get it recorded. So we're here tonight looking for reapproval.
So, the last time we talked about this, is there an issue with the state and the HOP and all that?
It had to do with the shared driveway
Yeah.
with Tractor Supply, that apparently the Webbers owned that driveway or something, if I recall.
Yeah,
Tractor Supply.
the Tractor Supply's entrance is on the Weber property, and there's a shared.
And then we had questions about access from back, because it's the furthest piece, and that,
So
Yeah,
we're making a motion to reapprove this subdivision, subject to the same terms and conditions the first time, with the appropriate fees, outstanding fees being paid within 30 days of approval of this reapproval.
with the only thing that's different is the addition to the sanitary.
So my calculations, so that was pointed out to me. I spoke to the treasurer today.
About the cost?
There's some additional fees. And we've no problem with that. I think our fees ballpark is about 6,100 right now.
Is that your client owes 6,100?
No, they own 1,100. They paid 6,100
Okay.
already.
All right.
But that, as a request of the Webbers, just respectfully ask for an itemized invoice on that.
You should get itemized invoice.
No.
it's fair.
So no problems paying it. And I think sometimes because I initiated the application and paid some checks, that the land development component and the subdivision component, I think, is all under one account. So we kind of like to separate what was the land development fees, what's the subdivision fees.
You have to know that Tractor Supply was initially on Weber property too, and like some of it might be, that's.
Right.
might
So
be
simple stuff.
What are they putting in this?
So,
they're
you give it on my
I think you just asked the same question Larry just asked. He goes, what's going on there? You go, what's going there?
So right
Initially, it
now,
was a car wash.
it's still, that's what's tabled right now, is the car wash.
Off of 88.
Correct. Through, using the same entrance, the tractor supply entrance, and then having an access easement across.
You ever see the line in front of the DQ through Dairy Queen on summer?
You could just wash them on 88. They sit there so long.
Yeah. But again,
Isn't that some consideration?
Traffic.
I think what happens at the Dairy Queen is the stopping at the window.
Goes way past her property sometimes.
Traffic was a comment on the land development.
So how do we know that's not gonna be a problem?
Well, that's still something that would have to be addressed, not necessarily by Keith's office, but by the consulting engineering company
So this
that's
is
doing the development.
All right.
So this is in two parts, Larry. The subdivision,
This part
It's
you're
approved.
doing.
yeah, the subdivision just
So they
creates
have
the lot.
almost an eighth of a mile back here that they would be waiting on before they would hit 88.
No. You should sell parking.
No, but Larry's
Yeah.
raising good concern about the traffic.
I think we need to be cautious about that because of the traffic. Sarmazy's in there, Mineral Beach looks like it's finally getting some movement in the right direction. The DQ, Michelle's operation, you know, I mean,
So
somebody's gonna end up putting turning lane in there.
yes, you're right.
And who's gonna do it? Is it the Webbers or is it, okay?
Mr. Braun.
It just needs to be thought through is all I'm saying.
So the traffic impact study for this site was a review comment on the land development plan, which is still
Okay.
working its way through the process. So your point's well taken. Traffic's an issue there, and it is going to be addressed as part of the development of this site.
And I think sometimes that's why people that have large parcels break it down to, we're only looking at Tractor Supply, and we're only looking at this, and we're only looking, rather than saying this is a development.
But
I think
that's
they
our
break
job,
it down
right?
into little, rather than saying, I'm gonna develop all my acreage here along 88. They have you just review
Yeah.
a car wash.
All right, so let me rephrase that motion once more. A motion to approve, reapprove submission on behalf of Weber, subject to the following. 1, all fees to be paid within 30 days of receipt of an itemized invoice
since inception.
Since inception, number 1. Number 2, that complies with any and all prior comments made the first time in the process. And 3, that approval of the subdivision does not provide any basis for any future traffic concerns. I think I'm trying to address Larry's concerns. And I think that the approval shall not guarantee or provide any substance towards the traffic situation. I just want the township to be responsible for any type of turning lane.
So I understand that, but that's been addressed in front of planning right now.
I know.
So that should have no impact on a 1 acre parcel.
I understand. But the problem is, I have a problem somewhere else in another bigger township where I have an issue popping up right in front of me with traffic.
So what does that mean?
Just saying, basically, the fact we approve it doesn't mean it provide that. It doesn't. You should be cognizant of the fact there could be traffic issues on that area.
Oh, I'm sure all those traffic issues are gonna be addressed
No, I know.
in the land development plans,
I
with
just
traffic
needs to
studies.
be. They gotta have a practical solution.
I
The
know.
first surveyor gets beaten up over traffic engineering
Well,
and.
You just speed us up for
You're
our
such a
itemized
friendly
bill.
guy.
Dairy Queen's a big
All right.
corporation. They should have realized they needed more than
I
2
agree
parking
with
spots before they hit a state highway. They
But-
wouldn't be going down the
So-
road.
PA Water will put another line in.
They've got a PA1 call to dig in front of my place again.
So I will say that the Webbers are looking to develop that site, it's just they don't have any, no one's,
Hey, I'm all for development, I don't wanna inherit people's problems.
oh, sure,
As a
so,
township resident,
yeah.
In the traffic study
we
for
didn't think
Mineral Beach
through the
development,
equation.
Oh, it's
Lane.
definitely a big discussion.
Thought
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Yeah, plan, for sure.
Mineral Beach development, their traffic study has a lane.
Recommendation for a turn.
What my daughter calls the suicide lane, where you sit in the middle of the road because you want to turn and someone.
It's just
All right.
practical.
So we have a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a first and a second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Is all you have, Mr. Mick? Is that it?
Oh, no, you got me for the next
What?
one too.
So where is the Brunetti property?
So I'm gonna drop off a couple copies of this drawing since
So we're on discussion and motion to approve the Brunetti subdivision plan 1.
I have 3 copies. I'd like to share a little bit.
I don't want.
Who gave this to us, Mr. Higgins? Don't we
Well, I
have to,
printed these.
is this supposed to give
Oh,
us
that's
like,
gonna go on that bill.
some of this stuff you have to give so many copies, we don't do that here?
Yeah, we do have that in our
That's the-
thing, but he'll have to get a bill from TJ for something.
Because normally what you do is you provide somebody for the supervisors.
It is in our thing.
The township requires, I believe, 10 copies.
Yep,
Did we get 10 copies?
I don't know that.
so this
Yes.
is,
I know we got some. I don't know how many we got.
this is Kirshner Drive, so this is at the top
Yeah.
of what we call Trax Hill,
Mm-hmm.
where old Route 88 dips in, and so go up the top of Trax Hill, and it's a road to the right.
Exactly.
Okay,
So, this subdivision, divides one parent tract into 6 smaller lots. So in that area that we're talking about, Michelle, the old Route 88, if you will, the old 2-lane road
Hi, Dave.
is now a Union Township road called Kirchner Drive. And off of Kirchner Drive is, maybe it's Kirchner Road and Kirchner Drive's the private.
Yeah, Kirshner Road
Kirshner
is
Road
old
is-
Route 88,
is-
Kirshner
yeah.
Drive goes up into where it's private.
Right, so road is public, drive is private. This subdivision establishes 6 new lots. Each of them are tagged with a non-buildable waiver, so there can be no construction of a residence or any building with public utilities until there's sewage facilities planning done for those lots. Our office has done a review of the subdivision. We had some comments for Keith's office to look at. Keith has since addressed those comments. And at this point, we're recommending that the board approve the subdivision. The planning commission passed a recommendation to approve.
What's the purpose of all these non-buildable lots?
The
So, I'll let-
joint property owners are going to purchase those lots for their own profit.
So
I'll
the
let
adjoining property owner,
Owners, all the surrounding property owners, some of them are present here tonight if you'd like to hear from them.
yeah, it's an odd.
It is,
it's
yeah.
odd.
So a little, some some background. I was worried about this one, and we reached out to TJ and his office and the zoning, and we had a pre-application meeting, which I found extremely beneficial. And with the results of that pre-application meeting, kind of gave us a warm fuzzy to move forward. The surrounding properties are really want to preserve. They want a developer to come in and buy the property, and they want to maintain it as an open space.
So
Okay, so the property owners. So this is the property. All of these separate property owners are doing one.
So what they're trying to, the essence of this whole development, this subdivision, is that the surrounding contiguous property owners are trying to protect that property from being picked up by a developer and developed. So they want to purchase their individual lots for their own adjoining property. That's the whole purpose behind this. Now, there is a concern was raised on Monday night concerning, if you look to the right, and there's some type of road. You see that elbow coming out past that thing?
Kirchner?
There was an issue concerning the width of that road in terms of the thing and then going outside of it.
Yeah.
So it's my understanding that's a 10-foot wide road or something.
Parkway, yeah.
And what was the motion we made regarding that the other night? You have it on your fancy phone, don't you? What was the motion we made about that?
We were going to stagger the right of way at the property line.
All right, so basically, we need a motion to approve that proposed subdivision. Again, subject to all costs being paid upon 30 days with an itemized invoice, to comply with all the township engineer's recommendations. 3, that portion of that private right-of-way outside that subdivision is to be severed.
I mean, I would have had, like, I didn't realize we were going to be so quick in front of supervisors. I would have had all these changes. These are all minor changes to the plan.
Subject to that being severed, and a subsequent drawing to be approved by the township engineer. Is that sufficient? Is that sufficient for you?
The only other comment from Monday was about the removing the reference to the road dedication
Yeah,
area.
cleaning up the dedication.
Well, that'll be part of the cleanup.
Yes.
Okay?
With no issues with the itemized, with the results of the meeting, with the conditions set on the plan. There's no issues.
All right. So motion to,
The only other point I'll
Who's
make,
gonna own this big green space?
it's good, they have different adjoining,
I see
5
that.
of them, isn't
so
there?
there's, how many lots? There's 5 lots
I'm
or 6
assuming
lots?
somebody owns lot 1, someone different owns lot 2, someone different
So
owns
these
lot 3.
are,
No, Traxxas own the whole piece.
Yeah.
they own the whole piece.
16 acres.
So like this,
That's right here in the,
this whole thing is tax property.
okay.
So what they're gonna do is they want these divided lots, and then basically this person will buy this, and so
Now
forth
I
and
get
so
it,
on.
I didn't
Adjoining to your
understand.
current properties, you buy the piece next
Okay,
to you, is what we did.
so we're taking a larger 16-acre parcel of Trax Farms property, we're breaking it down into smaller pieces so that the surrounding property owners can absorb those pieces.
yeah,
That I get,
this is the outer boundary
We
here.
just don't want neighbors.
I get that too,
So that's you're just trying to protect the property for yourself.
I get it. I just didn't understand,
So, we had a pre-application meeting with Keith, and the biggest thing we talked about at that pre-application meeting is the number of lots that you can create off of private street. And that was a concern, because the ordinance says, depending on your private road right away, you can only have a certain number of lots on a private street. So we ironed that out with Keith before he was, in a position to make his application. So,
Yeah, the whole idea, like, I don't want to spend a client's money if we get to this stage and it gets denied. So that meeting was extremely beneficial, and that's why we're here
I
tonight.
get it, so
And
Trax
these-
had a piece of parcel they wanted to sell.
Yeah.
And these are
These folks got
non-buildable.
together and bought it together, or
You're right.
going to buy it together and
Correct.
absorb it into their own yards.
Once the subdivision's approved and recorded, there's already agreement to sell, and so it'll just make it a lot easier to sell once the parcels are created.
And they're non-buildable lots.
Correct.
And if they choose to, they can do consolidations
yes.
later on.
At a later
We
date.
talked about the other night.
Okay,
So,
alright, I
you
get
need
it.
a motion?
A motion to approve, what's it called, the plan again? Bernetti's
This
subdivision
is
plan?
Bernetti's subdivision plan number 1.
Subject again to complying with the township engineer's comments, paying all itemized invoice in 30 days receipt thereof. Removal of that portion of that private street outside the subdivision itself.
Yeah.
Okay? And cleaning up and, quote, remediating the documents as suggested by the township engineer. Okay?
Do we have a signed copy from him?
Not
He's
yet.
gonna redo it.
Okay.
Yeah, once once, we resubmit to the township engineer and they give us the green light, you'll get signed copies.
Okay. I'll make that motion.
Second.
John, second. Any other questions any board members got?
Next time, bring 11 copies.
I'm prepared. Do you
I have a big plotter. Thank you very much.
already wait, we
Good
didn't
night.
vote yet?
Oh.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Nope, you're good.
Thank you. Good night.
So, I know this is off this agenda, but, since we're on subdivisions and land planning, how's Susie Grimm's property coming? She do the thing and
She's through her approvals, so she's received approval from the planning commission and the supervisors here at the township. Her biggest condition of approval was satisfying our remaining handful of comments. So, we received some information from her surveyor.
Susie Grimm's the El Rima
El
town,
Rima
for
town.
anyone that wouldn't know.
We received some new information from her surveyor and her architect last week. We'll review it and we'll let her know what else still needs to be taken care of. She did submit a temporary driveway permit application.
That was back in December, wasn't it, or when?
It was about a week ago.
A week ago?
The temporary driveway
They might have died.
last week.
I remember I was talking to her.
So,
That's to get access to her property
off a township road.
off a township road before the PennDOT approval HOP comes in. Only problem there is to get a temporary driveway, she needs to cross the fire company's property.
Did she
So
talk to you yet?
Yes, yes.
Do you agree to it?
We haven't really voted on it yet, so.
our
I
office
believe
has,
she wants her entrance to be 837, but she's waiting on a state HOP. There's nothing the township could do
We
about
did give her the
that.
parking spots that she needed. We did.
Yeah. So there's nothing the township could do about speeding up a highway occupancy permit for a state road. So then the plan was developed to give her temporary access off the back side of her property until they get the HOP for 837.
I didn't see it on the agenda.
No, I said it was, I knew it wasn't, I said it wasn't on the agenda, but I just wanted to know how that was going. I know they were working on it.
I'm not comfortable recommending that we issue them a driveway permit, temporary or otherwise, to come out to El Rima Avenue until they give us something that shows that the fire company's okay.
Fire department's
Since they have to cross their property.
Yeah, I get that.
You're not gonna do it, Mr. Bailey?
He said they haven't voted on it.
Alright, what's next?
Okay. Bid openings for electric contractor for the night, construction contractor for the night site building.
Janice, are these the ones we received? Alright,
There was a question on the one that came unsealed. Did we request sealed? We requested sealed,
so you can't,
Has to be
you can't,
set
it's,
aside.
has to be set aside, it's not responsible.
What that leave was a 2?
No.
There's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
So for the record, Merit, is this the one we're talking about, the Merit? So there's, in my hand, the proposal from Merit Electrical Group, came in today, or January 20th at 4:20. We cannot consider it because it's not responsive to the RFP.
They sent it by email and hand delivered, but unfortunately it's not in a sealed envelope.
Alright, so the first one we have is Torix Electric LLC of Hermini.
Harmony? Harmony, I guess.
Is that close by or what? Here's a proposal. Did we request bid bonds or anything? Did we advertise for these? You always, I thought we did bid bonds, but okay. What's that? So this is from Turix, January, letter date January 20, 2025. The total cost of work proposed about is $16,500. Did we ask for forms or anything? Who did the advertising?
This is this is not expected to exceed the bidding threshold. We're receiving quotes for this. We're not receiving
Those are the quotes.
bids.
Well, there are quotes in a sense, but so we didn't have any special forms or anything.
We did, yeah. We had no contract provisions. We had no bid bond.
So did
We
we have
sent out a request for written quotes in
And did
accordance
we-
with the bidding threshold.
And did we say what everyone's supposed to bid on?
We gave an RFP, yeah.
Well, he said, according to the, yeah, but he's saying if someone's telling me the RFP requires silk proposals, is that correct? Who did the,
I wrote the RFP. I didn't write the ad, so I don't know.
did the RFP require sealed proposals?
Or just quotes.
Or just
Just quotes.
Yeah, it's back on the table.
You didn't say, okay, you didn't say about sealed or anything, did
The ad bid,
the ad bid,
it's on the website.
we advertised in the newspaper. And then
Pull it back off.
16,500 for Torix. Then it has a line item not includes a bait proposal, install 50 amp receptacle, so forth, for $450. There's a capability sheet also. The next one's from AI Electric in Washington, Springfield Avenue. AI Electric Incorporated, again, this is a one-page document, 1/2025. They're proposing $30,000.
Huh?
And Janice, these are all required to be here a certain date and time, by the way? And they all apply.
To the guy that I got a bid from, does it was
The next one's a seal proposed from Lugalia, L-U-G-A-I-L-A Mechanical.
Is that from Dennis?
This is for $22,950. It describes the work. There's also certificate of liability insurance. The next is from, this is electrical bid, like you said.
They're all gonna get sick now. The spelling on the one that was before this is Lugaila. Lugalia Mechanical Inc.
Yes, this is from this is from Degutsy,
The Gatsby.
D-E-G-U-S-I-P-E, Offwood. Never heard of them? Theirs is $14,975. You know this firm?
14,000?
Yes,
How do you know them?
local,
I got a new one.
and the owner of that company used to work with my husband several years ago.
Now that you don't get to choose.
The next is Clapchap.
Flap check.
Clapchap.
We haven't opened it yet. It's about to. So far, this company's like.
January 21st, 2025. $67,900.
7,900. It's a deal.
You're making that up.
Sounds
Did
right.
we,
That sounds, compared to Veterans Park
67,000?
pricing, I think it's.
again, I have, did we require
Was
bonds
he
or anything for
serious
these?
or did he make that up?
No,
Okay.
we didn't.
We didn't require bonds or anything, like
No.
And Ken
maintenance bonds,
put
put
the
over
new
so
building
much.
up too.
I'm
Right.
telling you.
This company here is not the
Exactly.
lowest. I don't know if anyone
No
wants
maintenance
to
bonds?
respond.
I don't think so.
That's the one
Okay.
that.
Guess he was serious.
So here's what I suggest you do. I don't know, the forms seem to be different. I don't know much about the RFP. So my suggestion is basically that you make a motion we have 60 days to approve the bids.
Table review.
So make a motion to table the bids, subject to review by the township engineer to see if the same are responsive to the RFP itself.
Wow.
Who's gonna do that evaluation, Dennis?
Two, the bottom two weren't for art.
The township engineer, he did the RFP.
You were talking about TJ?
Yeah,
Actually, the
township
bottom
engineer.
three. Got 13, 14, and 20.
So you need a motion to table for further review by the township engineer.
I'll make the motion
14,
to table
that's 15,000.
for further evaluation.
That's 22,000.
I thought the other was
A
13.
second?
I'll second.
Just as a note, maybe on the minutes, that as long as they're all the same, that this DEGUSIPE was the cheapest bid at $14,975.
Okay, right.
If they're all matching, if they're everything that TJ had put out for, that's. So, motion to table until further review from TJ. We have a first from Larry, a second from Suzanne, am I correct?
Yeah.
All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? No. Okay. Motion to set the pay rate for the assistant treasurer, at whatever an hour with no benefits. This was accidentally left off of the organization. Was 27.50. Part-time treasurer with no benefits, correct. Marianne. So, I will make the motion to set the pay rate at $27.50 per hour with no benefits.
Second.
How much is
Carl
she
made the
making
second.
now?
So is this a,
$26.50.
How much?
$26.50 last year.
so would this be
$27.50 is what.
Would this be effective January 1st, going back to organization day, so they make the motions to reflect that, correct? So when you make your we'll make the motion say $27.50, effective January 1st, 2025.
Okay, I'd like to amend my motion to state that it starts as of January 1st. Do you still second, Suzanne, or Carl?
Yes.
Carl? So, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion to hire for the position of secretary at the rate of whatever, plus benefits spelled out, plus benefits that are spelled out in the Union Township Employee Handbook. Now, if I'm correct, in the Union Township Handbook, that those benefits would become after the probationary period, if it ends up it works out. So they would not, whoever gets it, would not get the benefits until after going through a probationary period in Union Township. There's my thing.
Background check and that.
Yeah, so I mean, it could say everything that's spelled out in there, because it is spelled out in the employee handbook that they have to do a background check.
Is that girl gonna be okay with that, Jan?
I told everybody I interviewed, yes.
What's probation for 60 days?
60 or 90.
60.
So, I'll make a motion to hire Michelle Benshoff for the position of secretary. You know, I don't remember what that position in the employee handbook stated. Price-wise, rate-wise,
It doesn't
doesn't.
that's just for the labor. I think that's just for them. Unless I missed something somewhere.
No, I mean, we could do it at one rate during the probationary period, reevaluate, and, yeah. So, do you have any suggestions for the board?
I advertised at $18 an hour.
You wanna do
Did you
fine?
advertise it?
Yeah.
Alright,
Do we, look a little bit.
When is she starting, Janice?
As soon as I can get a hold of her and she can give her 2-week notice.
So when you could try to.
I'm part of the Americans Disability Act, that my hearing's not what it needs to
she
be.
said if we hire her, they'll have to do a 2-week notice of their
Okay.
current place, and then after that, if the board votes to hire someone, then she has stated that 2 weeks notice. So it'll be 2 weeks from now.
So we better hire her right away.
Would it be appropriate for her to give a synopsis?
What?
Would it be appropriate for her to give a synopsis of the person and?
No, I mean, I could work with them. I'm sure she, how many people you interviewed?
I interviewed 5 or 6 people.
5 or 6 people? You feel strong about this one?
I do.
So,
I'll make the motion to hire a lady at $18 an hour, no
Michelle,
benefits.
Michelle
Michelle Benoff.
Is it
Bench
bench
off?
off? Bench off?
I
Bench
think
off.
If you break it down, it looks like bench OFF.
Close
Bench
enough.
off.
At $18 an hour, no benefits till she passes the probationary period of 60 days.
I'll second
Okay, so we have a motion by Larry, a second by Carl. Any other board member questions? All in favor?
Aye.
it.
Aye. Any opposed? Discussion and motion to approve a grant of easement with Kenneth Historic and Joseph Historic at 114 McChain Road. And if I'm correct, this is the gentleman whose sewer line comes down into our road? Okay.
But I think, I sent you guys an email, I don't think we should approve, we don't, they owe you money in terms of engineering, they're gonna owe you money in terms of attorney fees and so forth. And I think I sent an email saying we should get so much money up front about this, because otherwise, the taxpayers are gonna be picking up the cost for doing that.
You said like a $2,500.
I think I sent you an email about $2,500. I don't know what's gonna.
$2,500.
I notified them today that they owed 2,000 escrow.
I thought it said 2,500.
I think it said
Was
2,000.
it 2,000?
There was another person on McChain Road too, it could have been that.
No, this one precise, because I don't wanna do anything until they pay money up front.
I thought we changed that archaic method of not getting upfront money last year.
Yeah, and this was a weird situation where this person's sewer thing is in our road on McChain Road
Right now, yeah.
right now. It's already there.
And they already signed an agreement with Peters Creek.
Yeah, was it?
Yeah, but that's Peter's.
Right.
I don't want them to.
Correct.
So if you want, you can make a motion to approve the easement agreement, subject to specific condition that they prepay that sum of $2,000 to the
I have
township.
a question. So you have the $2,000 escrow. What does the easement itself cost? What does it cost to have an attorney draw up it? Is there a
It's gonna-
cost
there's a
on the
cost.
easement?
There is.
I
It's
figured there would be.
a couple $100 plus you have to
Because I
record
know
it.
with other stuff, like heavy hauling or any of the other things, holding tank agreement, the agreement costs so much money and then there's so much in escrow. How much does this easement agreement cost plus escrow, or is it all in the escrow? Maybe that's where the 2,500 came out.
That's going to cover the cost. I guess we may need to have a drawing by DJ to show an as-built,
That's
because
gonna be my question.
if you're going to put something in a right-of-way, so basically down the road, we want to have something of record that shows it's located here for purposes of 911 purposes. Okay?
Yeah, I mean, typically you have an easement agreement that has a description and an exhibit that shows where the facility's gonna be. I don't know if Peters Creek's located the lateral or not, if they know where it is, or if these property owners are gonna have their own. I mean, I wouldn't think that would be a prudent course. I think if we're gonna enter into an easement agreement, we would wanna
The drawing.
make the exhibit ourselves,
Correct.
probably.
I would, because that way, because I did that before with utility companies like electric companies and so forth. So we'd have to have some type of drawing that's going to be recorded, so down the road, people know what's happened.
Okay, so would the suggestion be for this board
I agree with that.
So
So,
you could
we're
do-
tabling this other
Well,
one?
you could do it two ways. You can either table it, or you can make a motion to approve it subject to the $2,000 being
Yeah, but we
paid.
don't know if we'll approve it till he looks at the drawing and tells us to approve it. We can't
No,
approve it, he's
no,
gonna approve it
what's
without-
that? They wanna place this drawing, place this pipe in the township right of way.
Placeholder, the pipe's there,
Right there.
pipe's there.
They already put the pipe in?
It's been there for
It's been in there.
They had a mobile home that they took off and they wanna put a new home on.
I thought the understanding was they're gonna remove, use our right of way.
They are using our right of way.
It's already in
It's
there.
already
It's already in there for years. But Peters Creek will not give them an occupancy permit for the storage because the storage is in our property and with no easement. Peters Creek has said, hey, unless you have an
Okay.
easement agreement with Union Township, we're not gonna let you occupy. Technically, you don't have sewage unless Union Township says it can be there.
So
And that's where we're at.
Alright, so let's table it until we get the money up front.
Okay,
Okay?
you're suggesting table
Motion to
till,
table?
Yes.
okay, we're motion to the table. I will make the motion to table, any seconds? I'm gonna second the table.
Second.
Carl second. All in favor of tabling this item? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion to approve a resolution setting the tax collector compensation. So, by law, on an election, going into an election year, by February 15th, a resolution has to be done setting so that anybody that runs for that office, would know what they're getting paid. So, I guess it's a state requirement,
State law.
state law. Okay, so this would be compensation rate for the years of 26, 20 years is it?
It goes for a period of 4 years, 26, 27, 28, 29.
Okay. Any motion for the resolution setting the tax collector compensation for the next election? Any motions?
I'll make the motion.
Carl made the motion. Any second?
I'll second.
Second. Any questions?
Yeah, so that's the 3% of real estate and 5% of streetlights.
And per capita, yeah. Any streetlights and per capita. I don't think that's changed from any other. I think it's pretty much the same as what was there before, just a little bit easier. Okay, so we have a motion by Carl, a second by Seiler. All in favor? Aye.
Abstain.
If, okay, sorry, quick break. If, should a board member abstain from this if someone within their household or themselves is considering signing for that vote?
Oh, it's sort of like saying, the Pirates win the Pirates
What were they
Pirates
talking
win the
about?
World. The Pirates win the World Series. I mean, it's speculative because you really don't know what's going to happen.
So, if the supervisor, someone in the supervisor's family is considering running for that position, they don't have to abstain?
No, because you know what's happening.
Okay.
It's not guaranteed.
So I don't have to abstain. Okay, then I'll vote yes.
Okay.
Because if your wife decides to run, you don't know.
Let's say voting on the future, not knowing the outcome.
Like I said, it's like voting on the Pirates win the series.
Okay, so, going back, it was Carl made the motion, Seiler second, everyone voted yes, all in favor? Okay, motion to advertise the amended solar facilities ordinance. So we had, I think money to re-advertise.
But we made a change, so
Change, yeah.
we're just gonna be safe, we're gonna advertise hearing, like sometime in February.
February 12th.
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
I'll second.
So Larry is on. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion and I messed up here. Motion and discussion and motion to advertise the BESS ordinance. So this would be to advertise for hearing BESS, battery energy storage system. Very often used in the solar field, kind of, but it is a separate facility.
Is that like the ones that burn up out in California?
Oh, there was one last week.
That's what I thought.
Oh, yeah, there's one last week. Sometimes they have to evacuate miles of people, burn for weeks or months, or, there was 56 fires at those facilities last year alone. They're up and coming, they're big, and they're not much regulated.
How
So,
large is the battery?
well, it depends on the facility. They could be small, you know, there's some big ones, there's some smaller ones. But, yeah, so it's an up and coming thing because of the solar boom. And so there's not much regulation on them because they're new and up and coming, so.
But they probably don't have to be, per se, solar generated, they could come from other power sources.
They
Just
could.
take battery banks, all they are.
Yeah, so basically it collects, it's usually solar because what they do is collect energy and release it during prime time. So something's creating the energy and they're storing it in these batteries and releasing it during times of need.
Are they using gas?
Sometimes gas wells
So
will
that's close
generate,
to-
turbines will generate, like a turbine that takes natural gas and generates electricity stored in batteries as such. So it could be solar, wind would use the same thing, it just, all of the
It's a
different.
reservoir. Electricity is generated on the
Yeah, a lot of
operation.
times they look, the size of tractor trailer stacked next to each other. Sometimes the fields are big.
We put some protection on solar regulation for,
But because it's not just solar, it has to be a separate ordinance, because it could be storing energy from any source.
Absolutely,
I think
anything
the,
that's.
Yeah, any
So
source.
it's storage,
It
it's
could be
reservoir.
windmill could give them energy,
Absolutely.
water, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's like an electric car, you charge it to the, run it to the then charge it again.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. It's the same principle,
So-
same
point
theory.
is, some of the language that's in our proposed solar regarding the lithium battery situation should be in this one.
And we'll be talking about that.
What do you mean, you took lithium battery consideration out of?
No, we don't say them.
Yeah, you took the not having them in it, yeah. We'll put it back
But
in.
we're requiring notification of fire departments.
That'll be bigger than that.
We're putting in,
So
automatic
you're gonna
fire
do
prevention
both.
systems in those type of situations. That all needs to be in S2.
There'll be some modifications.
Well, this is the thing is, if you consider, John, if you do something by conditional use hearing only, those are conditions that you put on based on where it's going in your community, what it's near and how it affects the things close by. So those are like the conditions that go in during their conditional use. You know, if it's in the middle of a 400-acre field, or is it 75 foot from a structure, different considerations noise-wise, and that's why the conditional use a lot of times will be helpful.
I'll make the motion, Michelle.
Okay, you're making the motion to advertise for BES battery energy storage system hearing.
Correct.
Okay, I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Adoption of a street known as Village Lane in Highland Village Plan. So this would be that ordinance to, So, this would be an ordinance to adopt the street currently known as Village Lane in the Highland Village Plan. Carmezi. I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Authorize banks and engineers to assist with the design and permits necessary for the following drainage/road improvement projects. Jack Street Storm Sewers. Oh my God, Sally played on the seesaw. Jack Street Storm Sewers, Pumpkin Center Road culvert replacement, Airport Road drainage improvements, and drainage improvements in the Dolphy plan.
Okay, so quickly on this here, we had an informational gathering meeting with Ken and a number of us on, I think it was January 2nd, where we talked about a number of different projects which have been identified by the road crew as either drainage improvement projects or roadway improvement projects that these guys have identified as being able to be completed in 2025. Now, a couple of them need environmental permits. Paper Road that we did in 2024, that culvert replacement for that stream, required a GP11 permit through Chapter 105 for the waterway encroachment. Some of these projects require, permits similar to or slightly different than that Paper Road project did for the waterway encroachment. So, obviously, before Bankson sets out to do any design work or any assist with permits, I want to make sure that we're authorized to do that. So I think this agenda item is meant as part of a discussion and an opportunity for the board to ask any questions about what we're potentially going to do in 2025 for drainage improvement projects. And certainly Ken can contribute to this conversation also.
It's a case-by-case basis, is what you're telling us.
Right. So the first one on the list here, Jack Street Storm Sewer. Ken has a pretty well-developed plan of what he wants to do for storm sewers there. But at the bottom of the hill, at the bottom of Jack Street near the bridge, we need a permit to discharge our storm water into the stream. So typically that would be something that Bankson would apply for and obtain for the township before the work is done.
Just cover the bridge activity too?
Not. They would be handled under two different.
We spent a chunk of change on the bridge, at least that's what the invoice said. That's in addition, TJ, I've looked at the bridge with Kenny, it looks like it's bowed, I don't know
Doesn't
whether
look
it was
great
an
to me.
installation or a quality product. I don't know how it occurred.
It's not that old of a structure either.
No, it's not.
I talked to the guy that lives right there, because I talked to him about an easement, TJ, that yard.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, because I said, what do you think happened to that bridge? He says, it looks like it dropped. I said, that's what I thought. It looked like it just went straight down, because both asphalt on both sides are angled down now. And I can't see them putting that bridge in like that.
Well, we looked at it, the structural members on the side looked like.
Oh, they're bowed up.
Yeah.
They're pushing out.
And that was after the lady came in there, right after we had the first flood. And we were looking around and it was.
That lady in the yellow house.
Yeah.
I was in a meeting in 2021 where one of the board members were talking about going back after the bridge company because it was a pre-formed bridge. And Harshman had said, you can't do that. There's issues with trying to do that. They didn't really say much further than that in public, but it must be the way it was installed, or maybe it wasn't. For some reason, there were board members that were saying that there was problems with more than just that bridge. They were talking about a couple of bridges they bought, Jack Street being one of them, and that the bridge company should give them money back for what was. So it must have been happening in 21.
Well, Ken and I looked at this together. I've looked at it twice. I looked after the big floods that we had in April, and then I looked again and maybe later on in the summer. And it's in my mind, it looks like it's getting worse. So that's point number one. Point number two, my first question when Ken and I were standing out there looking at it was, is there any warranty for this structure? Is there any shop drawing submittal at the township that shows what was put in, how it was installed?
I could look for that.
What information do we have? And can we, if it was Lane Construction or Contact who makes those prefabricated bridges, can we approach them and say, hey, we have a problem with this structure and we'd like you to
Look
come
at
take a look at it and
That's a thought.
In that meeting, Harshman was advising on the issues of trying to go back after the bridge.
and again,
I don't know why.
I wasn't here, we weren't here, but I don't know the history of the project. I don't know
I even went
who
back to
installed
look at
it
the
or whatever.
Facebook
But
for the old Union Township Facebook
Well, how do we,
videos, and it was in there.
how do we find if that information's in us and who put it in, who provided it?
I can search the server. I'm sure it was a project in 2020. It was originally, if I
it. It
recall,
was put in 2018.
18. If I recall, you were the solicitor when the old Carl, what's-his-face engineer filed for the grants for those bridges. And they weren't gonna be prefab bridges, they were gonna be those, like the one right next door on Treva, is it?
yeah, Travis right down.
So that Carl, was it DCAS or something?
DCAS.
So Carl DCAS filed for grants for those bridges. They came in after you were no longer here. And then that next board and solicitor and engineer decided to go this route. I'm not saying it was a bad route, but it's a different route. And then I remember being in the audience when they were saying like, you're not gonna have any luck doing it the way they were put in. You're not gonna have any luck going back after the bridge company. But I don't know what that meant. I was just.
I don't know what that means. If you're saying that we got grant money back in the day to do the project, probably it would have been publicly bid. We would have contract documents for that, right, Dennis? We would have a set of drawings that would show the work to be covered under the grant.
That's the things you gotta leave the
You would think.
So I just think we need to do some homework on the bridge project because I think it's worth asking the question, can we go back to the manufacturer and ask them what's going on with this thing?
Right.
So,
Who knows if it isn't much like the playground equipment at Orama Park where they'll only warranty it if they put it in. You know what I mean? Like if
Yeah, I
they,
don't know.
and it could be something similar to that, like a bridge company that builds a bridge might not be, they're not the ones doing the installation.
But that bridge is failing.
I saw it.
it's only 7
failing.
years old, which
It's
is
failing, and it was
somewhat
failing a year
disappointing.
ago when you showed me.
So to answer your original question, Larry, Jack Street is sort of in two components. The bridge I treat standalone and the drainage improvements.
How the conversation went, we had to meet with Ken.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Second one on the list is Pumpkin Center Road culvert replacement. So this is the culvert that's right beside that private drive that's called Bickerton Lane. It's right on the sharp end of the street there. Probably 150 feet down the road is where the slide started on Pumpkin Center. So the problem here is the pipe that takes the water from beside Bickerton Lane across the roadway and down into the valley on the low side of Pumpkin Center. It's a tin whistle pipe, I think. It's an old aluminum pipe. It's in bad condition.
It's collapsed.
The invert is completely rusted out. You stand there and you look at it, you can't see the bottom of the pipe. It's gone. The road on the high side is starting to collapse. Probably in December, there was a large truck that went down there and caused some damage to the road because there's just no integrity supporting that piping. So this project's very similar to Aber Road. It would take a GP11 permit to do a culvert replacement because we're replacing the pipe that carries the stream.
This description of where sounds very similar to what EQT was saying about water lines.
Well, they're gonna be meeting with us on the 30th.
I'm just saying, what you just described sounded like what they
Very
described of
close.
where their water lines go.
It's all within a couple hundred feet. The potential crossing for the gas company, the slide area, and this culvert. It's all in very, very close proximity.
And you and Kenny are gonna meet the guy that was at my meeting.
I'm meeting them on Thursday. This next Thursday, I'm meeting Casey. I'm gonna take him down there, and I think he's bringing somebody with him. Cause me and him saw a pipe that had X amount of water going in it. And X amount of water doesn't come out of the pipe, it's a trickle. Where's the water going?
In the ground somewhere.
Exactly, and that's what I think caused this, the failure on Pumpkin Center.
So
Anyhow, that's a range, you guys.
yes. So to do that right, we would need a day or two to survey it. We would put a drawing together. We would submit that to the conservation district. They would approve it, and then we would be able to do the rest.
That permit needs to be filed soon. Cause the road's collapsing. Come spring, we're gonna get a lot of water down there.
Just for timing purposes for the conversation here, when we applied for ABR last year, it took about 10 weeks to get the permit.
Yeah, I remember.
So
I'll put us in spring. Does it work?
that's kind of the purpose of having a conversation now, is if we go forward with some of this stuff, Bankson can start on it tomorrow, and we can have permits in time to be able to maximize the construction season.
As an aside, if we
I
decided
think
what
it's gonna be
roads we're
a motion
paving,
on all of them, or,
No, but that's part of the conversation too, I think. We have a list of ones that we feel we would be comfortable paving or are ready to pave.
we're all
better way
pretty,
of saying it.
we're all pretty familiar with the airport road drainage improvement things.
So this involves 2 driveways, a swale, and a roadway crossing. So we need to spend a little time there and figure it out, but it's not a good situation right now because the stream's pretty well filled in, and
There's no ditch
that,
anymore.
The 2 folks that have driveways there that cross the stream, they have culvert pipes that are pretty small, and I think in April last year we had a lot of water on the road, so we need to try to mitigate that.
Yeah, we don't want that to be snow.
To give you an idea, whenever we were getting those heavy flooding rains, I had a foot of water going across there. I walked through it.
is that the time road,
I know you showed me a picture.
on the road?
It's not in there.
On there. Yeah, on the road.
It's on the road.
I actually thought.
The-
we
the
showed you a
ditch is
picture
no
of the
longer
Clinton
there.
property
It's
with the
filled
flood
in.
Coming down, is it similar?
When you're coming up from 88, you go past the commercial building there, you go up the hill to the top where the crest is in the woods there, then you start to go down the other side.
Towards Rankin.
Past
Yeah, and
Paris.
there's that little valley in there, and you
The
have a
houses sit
collection
pretty
problem
high on
there.
that
Yeah, the
side.
houses are up high, and there's a low spot there where the water does collect and creates a bad situation.
So what about the Dolphy plan?
The Dolphy plan?
That's a plan off at 88, correct?
Right.
Along
That's
88,
Albert's.
Highland, Union,
Yeah.
where
Keystone.
Hooker's Corners
Yeah.
is, that's the Dolphy plan, okay?
So I've gone around this plan maybe once or twice, not very, I'm not overly familiar with it, is what I'm trying to say, but Ken tells me there's some issues there and probably something more comprehensive would be needed to solve
So
everything.
part of this would be the Spruce Street, the folks were here and called Channel 4 and the green, that's the Dolphy plan.
There's one other thing I wanna talk about, and that's Railroad Street, because we are gonna need engineering on that. I'm waiting to hear from West Bend Power, but we did get a letter saying that they're gonna move those poles for free. They're gonna put them in the ground, so we can widen the road and get away from the railroad.
For those that weren't aware, there's, how many poles there?
3 or 4.
3 poles that West Penn owns, and then there's a private one or so.
The one is Verizon.
One's Verizon.
So they're about $10,000 or $12,000 each to move, which has kind of been part of the. Ken bet TJ that he could get the electric company to move them for free. TJ bet him that he couldn't do it. Now TJ owes him lunch, but Ken got the electric company. He proved to the electric company that they're within the township right away and therefore have to be moved at their expense. Hopefully, will be put underground because the people on Railroad Street have no problem with us going closer to their house so that they don't fall onto the railroad track. But the problem is the poles. They all said, I don't care if you pave up to my front porch, but I can't, I'm gonna back over the track, the road sliding back.
The road's gonna collapse at some point because the railroad cut it back so
And
far.
we can't go put a retaining wall or anything to hold it up because it's railroad property.
And we asked the railroad that question and they said,
Nope.
No,
So now we
There-
have to,
no
yeah.
discussion.
The railroad will not allow us in their right of way to support that road that's slowly sinking down. So the next option option is to kind of move our road closer to the houses on Railroad Street so that we can shore it up there and give a steady road. But right now, I would say it would be hard, but I don't think you could get a fire truck up there.
It's tight.
I know Waste Management can't pick up it, it's in a
I
separate.
got a hold of
so-
Waste Management, they're now picking that up with a pickup
That's what I
supposedly.
said, they're sending a separate pickup truck. There's no way for any ambulance, like the people are starting it slowly, getting that they're not gonna be able to get to their houses.
So John, Ken, and I met with the folks from West Penn Power back before Christmas break, and that's the general idea, is that if those poles are located within the road right away, the power company will relocate them. So that's the conclusion that the power companies arrived at.
So they're moving the pole, or putting it
That's
under.
what they've indicated to us.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Congratulations.
And we can do the work, we can widen the road.
We have to do something for these people.
It's not a
been
good.
long time
It's not a
coming.
good.
No, I
And trying to
agree.
deal with the railroad and being allowed to work in the right of way is, even if they do let you work in the right of way, you have to hire their people at a lot of money per hour to be there the whole time you're there.
It's easier than moving the pole.
We need to make sure the road's 16 feet wide minimum so we can keep it on the liquid fuel.
Good luck with that.
When we do
It's
that
close
work,
now.
do we have to, any engineering work have to be done in property?
No, it's
and-
it's going into our right of way, so we already have. Those poles are inside of our right of way.
I mean, it's gonna move over towards those houses.
That would be the electric company's problem.
Well, we're gonna have to negotiate. We'll have to get easements and
Okay.
extended rights away from those property
Landowners.
owners to be able to widen the road.
And there's like 3 before it turns into this wide, and before there's a
Yeah.
guy at the end that really doesn't have a problem because he's going. Is there like
I
3?
think there's at least 3.
And I think Adam Stasko owns 2 of them, and he's come here saying, I don't care. Pave up to my front porch. I gotta be able to get an ambulance and a fire
Yeah,
truck up here.
I've talked to him before. He's been cooperative. So.
Okay, I'll make the motion.
Okay. So that is item or letter M. I'm not repeating it because Jack Street Farm Store. Okay. So Larry made the motion. Carl second. Is that what I heard?
Yep.
Okay, Larry made the motion. Carl second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And approve the PSATS Power Pass program for $99 this year. This is the program that PSATS has that you can go on and take webinars and stuff, as many as you want for the same amount of money. I know that Janet takes them, I take them, Mary Ann takes them, I'm not sure about other board members, but anybody can. For this $99 would include any employee or board member to take free webinars on PSAT's website.
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
I'll second.
We made the motion, Suzanne second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, discussion and motion to purchase blank F600 4x4 V8 diesel truck or trucks for the Public Works Department at the price of blank. So, every one of these items is a line item. So, y'all got some bids in front of you. Little complicated because C. Harper Ford had put their price included in with the modifications. Hey, Ken, if you could, next time when you give us prices, try to give us all equal, because some of them have the truck, some of them have the modifications, some of them have both.
That's how I wanted it, but they wouldn't do it.
It's tough to
But
make
Harper
them.
gave a separate price.
Harper gave us the one with everything on it.
Now
This
they also
company.
gave us another
C.
one.
Harper gave us,
Two
Oh,
prices.
this is the same company.
but for the truck, C. Harper, the price is a co-star's price, so no matter where I go, it's gonna be the same.
Yeah.
The beds and the
171, that's
upgrades I got from 3 different companies.
the dominant end of it.
Okay, so it's just the same. Okay.
So the truck for the Ford, $72,000?
Well, once it's
120.
fitted, once it's
The trucks
fitted
are
with the
$72,000
modifications,
apiece.
it says.
The trucks are $72,000 a piece. The bed's gonna cost us, the cheapest price up there, I think, was $47,000.
Kenny, after we take delivery of the truck, and we haul it back and forth up to the, let's
Yeah.
say we go with that one
Yeah.
third party.
Yeah.
What type of deliveries on there, Ken?
I don't know.
You got a guess?
They might deliver them for nothing.
Huh?
Did you say how much they'll cost to deliver them?
No, I mean delivery to us after the finished product.
As soon as I get an okay to how many I can buy or what I can buy, I'm gonna call Burrow, because Burrow has two trucks on the lot that would work. I could get them immediately. If I can't get those trucks, the only thing I can do is order it, and it takes 8 weeks. 6 to 8 weeks to order from Ford.
Now I'm confused. Did we get a price from Harper or from this company, Burrow?
C. Harper gave me a CoStar's price.
Yeah.
So that CoStar's price is good for the whole state, from
And he
any
does
dealer.
This guy, the third, whoever this other guy is.
That's Burrow. Burrow Chevrolet, but it's Burrow Ford.
So Burrow Ford, is this gonna be the same price? As
Same
the
price.
Sea Harper, because
Right.
everything's on.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we're just authorizing the money to buy it?
Right. And the bed. The bed
Right.
is good. I want to get the bed from J&L Truck Bodies. I went up and looked at it, and I'm gonna tell you what, it is a good bed.
Okay, so if we do this, what truck you trading in?
3 and 4, both of them. If you only get one truck, I'm gonna trade 3 in.
Okay, so if we're doing one truck, it's gonna be under the condition of this price minus the trade-in value of.
Whatever we can get.
Does the CoStar include the trade-in value?
He's getting me the price. I called him today, and he still didn't have it because he was on vacation, and then their trade-in guy that gives the prices on the trade-in guy, he was off. So I don't.
So it's gonna take what, 7 to 8 weeks? You said to get the truck.
Yeah.
So can we wait enough? Should we wait till we get the proposed trade-in value?
I'd like to say something.
He wants to
I
propose.
seen the trucks failing.
Why?
Couldn't go up a hill.
They're having
They
problems
had 3
going
broke
up the
down the
hill.
other day. They're having trouble even getting up the hill.
What I'm saying is,
They won't order them until he gets authorization, so it might take 7 weeks once he orders them.
Once I order it.
if
But
we
I
leave
did
them for a
find,
month,
we've been
then it'll
checking
be
every
5 weeks.
Ford dealer around, and
So-
Burrow
so the
Ford
price-
has 2. They actually have 3.
so basically what I'm saying is, we take the price, then we'll just get a deduct from that later on.
Right. The trade-in price will come off at $72,000. I don't know what it's gonna be.
So how many, we authorized what, one truck in the budget?
Huh?
We authorized one truck in the budget this year?
In the budget, we didn't budget anything. We talked about it, and I think we decided that if we were gonna buy anything, we would buy it out of the machinery fund.
All right,
And so we didn't have to budget anything,
that's not liquid fuels.
no.
It's a capital.
It's your equipment fund savings plan.
John, what it's like, it's like a capital reserve fund.
Yeah.
It's been sitting, so it's not
The
budgeted, so
Washington
what you're gonna,
Financial.
do is you're gonna make if you make the motion, you should make the motion and also put that motion that the source of the funds coming from your machinery fund or whatever you call it.
Alright, so we make the motion for the total price of this truck. And then he gets the deduct, we can put that back in the equipment.
Right, so,
The question is, and it's on the, she did the total on the code. So then the question is, 1 or 2, because, we got 3 down. How many hours a day are we spending with a mechanic?
Five to eight hours a day.
We have somebody getting paid union road crew wages. 5 hours a day
Sometimes
to
2
go
guys,
around.
cause like, sometimes 2 guys. I had Ron under the truck, and I had,
How much-
Dave under the truck and Ron on
how
the
much
side
would you
trying to
say
feed
we
these
spend
line
in
crews.
Parts for trucks.
Huh?
How much do you think we spend on the average? Obviously the headlight assembly needed changed today, but I know.
The gas tank for truck 4 is $650 just for the gas tank.
That's a month's payment.
If we would get 2 of these trucks,
Mm-hmm.
how many trucks are you getting rid of?
2.
They'll only take one trade-in. We can always sell another one on CoStars if we want, but they're only gonna trade in one truck for one truck.
So you have 4 that are breaking down all the
3.
time, or 3?
I got 3. Looky, I'm taking the worst 2 trucks I got.
Sorry,
They're
bring
gas.
that headlight thing up.
No, I saw it.
Any of them both the same
I know.
size, capacity?
Yeah. Well, actually, these are 8-foot beds. I'm getting. When I get the new trucks, I'm getting 10-foot
They
beds.
both rated at that 600.
Huh?
They both have 600.
Yes. 22,000-pound trucks.
So we're just buying something comparable.
These are good trucks. They're the 2 gas job trucks I got right now. They're 10 years old. They're V10 gasoline engine trucks, and they are very tired. I was shocked. He come in and he says, "I seen one of your trucks that almost didn't make it up the hill."
Is that Carl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was going up to the plan up over there,
Tuscany.
Tuscany Estates.
That was probably Johnny
About a
in
third
truck
of the
3.
way up the hill.
Actually, Cherie Dubs told me he was going up Ivy Hill the other day. He was broke down on Ivy Hill.
That's
She went out
John.
to see, she said it was Johnny, that's what's reminding me. Cherie Dubs told me today that we had a salt truck broke down on Ivy Hill outside of her house.
It wasn't broke down. It just wouldn't go. He had to let it take a rest.
Well, she said, "Do you need any help?" And he said, "I gotta go ahead and take a run and start."
How long has that been going on? Obviously, it just didn't happen.
We've had a
You know
lot
what? I don't know. I wasn't here last year. I don't know.
plowing, pushing on them. They
No,
can't
but
do it.
I'll buy the 2 trucks. I don't care about it. But I don't understand why we did all that stuff a couple of years ago. Then we have
Part of the problem is this. When it starts shorting out, it starts
Yeah.
throwing codes.
I agree.
It won't even run.
I have no issue with it, Kenny. Does that mean we were having the same issues a couple of years ago?
I would say they had them for the past 3 years, at least.
So you need to put a motion on the floor. So you're roughly talking $123,000 per truck, right, roughly?
Roughly.
76
Per truck. That's for the bed and the truck.
And accessories.
Right.
And the accessories are going to spreaders and everything.
So what are we
That's
making a
done.
motion on buying 1 or buying 2?
I'll
I don't
make the
know.
motion to buy 2.
Yeah, I'll second.
Making a motion to buy 2. You're
I'll
seconding the
second.
motion. So let's word the motion properly. So we're making a motion,
To purchase 2
2
trucks
trucks from C. Harper Ford.
for the price of what? For the price of?
C. Harper or Burl?
Huh?
C. Harper or Burl?
Well, I'm gonna see if I can get C. Harper to call Burl and get those 2 trucks up.
Can't they switch them?
Right, that's what I'm gonna try and do. So I don't, it's gonna be C. Harper or Burl.
At the Coast Guard.
Huh? At the Coast Guard.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, I have one question. Does the fabricate from this company cheaper than C. Harper?
It's $1,100.
So we're buying the trucks from C. Harper and gonna have that next motion for the fabricating?
Because you're fabricating the seam closet at the all
They
places.
have.
Okay, so that's my
She
question.
was asking.
Your motion is to
She's
buy
asking.
2 trucks from C. Harper with the fabrications included.
Everything.
Okay.
Yes.
At the price of
C. Harper or Burl, you said.
C. Harper or Pearl,
Yes.
but at the price including all fabrication and.
The fabrication in that will be done at J&L Truck Bodies.
That's what I just asked.
I told him to listen.
But they'll bring them in and
Sorry.
they'll cover.
I just asked and they didn't wanna do that. They wanted to get it all
We
done
want
at
to
the
sole
same
source
place.
the trucks, is what
Yeah.
they're saying, right?
He's messing up my motion over there.
Looky, J&L Truck Bodies are better than Zaresco's. I know Zaresco's been in business for a while, but they're in Penn Hills.
C. Harper Ford?
I'm sorry.
There's confusion
There is.
on the
Where's
total price of this truck is right here. That's with everything on it.
The truck is 72,000.
Yeah, this here,
The
you gave us a
bottom.
thing from C. Harper Ford.
what?
It's the total price including everything. That's what we're making the motion for, if we're correct.
72,000
No,
for the
it's the
truck.
bottom
Forget
line.
about this. Forget about this.
Okay, that's not what we were doing.
There's
It said-
$1,120 Harper's higher than this other person.
See, the Sea Harper bed costs $48,222. If we go through J&L,
Push and
The
pull,
grand total for,
Just push and pull.
that's a separate mo, I put it on as a separate motion.
yeah, but
Are
if
you
Right there.
talking,
you just add them up, I bet you the
47,100.
numbers
let me tell you about the J and L.
What?
Nowhere on here does it say J and L, so we don't know what you're talking
When I
about.
copied it, it didn't
I'm
come
just
on.
saying, now you understand why we don't know, this doesn't say J and
Oh,
L.
on mine it says J&L, I'm
This
sorry.
just says truck bodies and fabricators, so I can't know what you're talking about. I looked at that too, I even circled it because they were cheaper than C. Harper, but,
Let's
It's
get it
what,
from
it's
Harper.
$1,100. I say we get it all in the
J&L.
same
I
place.
agree.
and that's it. So, we're trying to do this easier and not void any.
If you wanna go through Sea Harper, go ahead, but then I gotta deal with the
Let's take
rest.
the truck down.
Who's the rest go?
They're out of Penn Hills.
Yeah,
Oh,
but then Harper will be dealing with them, Kenny. We won't.
Harper, yeah, but they won't give me the truck I want.
Okay, but you're gonna. go
okay,
to
are you,
Pearl.
I'll go to Borough or to Sea Harper.
Okay, well,
Yeah, but that,
at that price, so your motion is to buy 3 Co-Stars for 72,000 and then have it fabricated at J and L, that's what he's asking.
Right.
Just so you
I
know,
just
that's what
wanna
he's
buy
asking.
the truck here.
You wanna buy the truck from C. Harper?
I'm gonna buy
Or-
a truck from Sea Harper. Or Borough.
Earl, they're both Co-Stars
Forget that.
pricing, the price is the same, whoever has it.
But he doesn't want, he wants to go
He wants to
through
get the
Pearl,
fabrication from this company.
but he wants to go through Pearl for because of J and L.
No, no.
Pearl probably.
No, Earl has the truck.
Harper won't do anything here.
30 years of this.
They have a
30 years
better
of
than
this.
the rest of them. See what this here says? So bloody. This is from the rest of them.
God forbid if you question it.
I just want to buy this truck
And hire this
and put
company
this
to do
better.
fabrication.
Same thing, same thing. Exact same thing.
Since I'm not the one going to pick it up, I'm just gonna go with the 7,500 truck for each one of those places. And
Okay.
then go with the cheapest
Boy, did you make that
J&L
confusing.
for the fabrication modification.
I told you.
I can make it up.
You can throw this up there.
All right, I'm making a motion to purchase well, somebody already made the motion. Carl made the motion to purchase the you said 2 trucks? 2 trucks
Larry second.
under Larry seconded. Under the Co-Stars pricing of $72,000 each.
Right.
Huh?
To be picked up at either C. Harper or Pearl,
Right.
depending on who has them available. But at that price, minus, it also gonna depend on who gives you a better price on the trade-in,
Right.
okay? That's a requirement, I need to see.
Here's
the
what I'm
trade-in.
gonna do. I'm gonna call, now that you've approved this,
We
I'll
haven't
call.
yet, so quit talking.
If you do.
Stop talking.
Get the motion done first.
So, minus the trade-in value, the best trade-in value.
Right.
And that would be trading in what we have labeled as truck number 3 and truck
And
number
4.
4.
Right, 3.
Taking the money out of the,
Taking the money out of the equipment fund at Washington Financial Bank. That was Carl and Larry.
Thank you.
Hold on, we
You
haven't
need
voted
it.
yet. Stop, we got another
What?
motion to
I
get
just
through
said for
yet.
the
So
truck.
we're gonna say all in favor? Aye.
Wait.
We got a question on the table.
We're buying 2 trucks with no attachments.
That's what we're doing,
From
Right now.
yes,
right now.
that's this motion.
That's this motion is the trucks. The fabrication modification is the next motion on the table.
Okay,
So we're buying 2 trucks, from using CoStar's pricing, using the equipment fund at Washington Financial, with the trade-in of 3 and 4, truck number 3 and 4 deducted from that price of $72,000. So now, all in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay, next motion on the table is discussion in motion to purchase the truck bed and truck modifications needed for those 2 trucks. I make a motion to get them from, you guys have it as truck bodies and fabrication because the J and L has come off the top. So I make a motion to get the truck beds and modifications for 2 trucks at J and L Truck Bodies and Fabrications for the price of $47,100. I have my glasses right on my head.
I got a question.
Sure.
Are these 2 people, Kenny, they using the same type of materials in the components, stainless
Yeah.
steel?
Stainless steel.
Are they duplicates as far as, you know, the pounds per foot of these members?
Yeah, I did.
It's
take
basically
a look
the
at
same
this compared to
bed,
this.
but the guy in West Newton, Zaresco buys a truck body off this other company, and they'll only make it with a 3/4 coverage of the cab. Where the guy in West Newton, he makes the exact same style bed, except he makes it, and it's a little bit stronger, and he makes a full cab protector over the cab of the truck.
So all the materials that are exposed to salt will be made out of stainless steel?
Same stuff.
I won't even ask you what grade it is, but
I don't know.
304,
So you're saying
316.
J and L is giving you a better
Better bed.
product, but it also happens to be the cheapest.
Well, I went up and I seen his operation, and he has a very
I'm
nice
just saying,
truck
his
bed.
bid is lower than Push and Pull and C. Harper.
I have a question,
Mhm.
I'll wait until you get this first.
Well, I was gonna wait until at least we had a second for conversation. Go ahead. Do we have a second on the table for
Second.
purchasing? Okay. Now you can, so Larry was the second. I made the motion. He second.
Okay, so
John's
this
question.
is 47,000 per vehicle.
Yeah.
90-some thousand total. We've got, what, 3 quotes, and these are non-CoStar quotes, right?
The bed.
Are they CoStar or are they not CoStar?
Are these
The
quotes,
trucks are CoStar.
the accessories, what we're voting on now,
There are no CoStars.
is that sufficient?
That raises a question. I mean, I think you need to have to go through the process, but
What's that?
Isn't your limit now like 22?
20, I think it's $20-some thousand.
23.
It takes 7 weeks to get the
That-
trucks.
that would be sealed too, don't they?
So-
We have 7 weeks till we get the truck, so I guess we could go further with that.
You could.
That was just, see, going through Harper, we just could cut the whole deal at one.
I got 3 prices.
Yeah, but
Doesn't
with
matter.
buying the 2 trucks, your fabrication has now reached the thing of, how many quotes did you get on fabrication?
3.
So he's got 3 telephone quotes for
Yeah.
9, what? Your problem is you're into the,
Well, even one.
Too much money.
22,000.
yeah.
So, simple solution, just buy the ones from Harper, they come in dressed, like $120,000.
CoStar's
And
price.
hopefully he can do a dealer trade
There you
with
go.
Pearl,
If you get them both from C. Harper,
or Pearl.
dressed, or Burl, already dressed,
Just get them all done.
you're getting the CoStar's price, avoiding the bid process.
All right.
If it,
Wait a minute,
Tammy just asked a question.
can they deliver the dump part to those dealers and let the dealers combine the price?
That's what C. Harper, yeah, C. Harper has got it on their belt.
But he still gets.
He just apparently likes the way the other company does
Here's
theirs.
what I'm
a
gonna do.
little
I'm
bit
gonna go to
cheaper.
see Harper Sandwich, get the truck bodies over there. Here's the price I got.
Yeah, deliver them to us done.
I want 1 deal.
Deliver them to us done, we're not gonna bring them around.
Does it classify as an emergency if the truck can't make it up the hill?
Yeah?
Hey, wait, we are in a state of emergency, Cole.
Keep going.
I know the
Let's
county
get it done.
will.
That's a
that's
good
real,
question.
that's really pushing
It
it.
is an emergency.
Yeah, I was supposed to do this.
Okay.
This
so
is a dire
So we're
emergency.
gonna,
I'm backtracking. I'm going to rescind my previous.
The emergency has to be life, death, or something.
Okay.
It's gonna be life threatening if he rolls
Take
backwards.
the truck down to.
Yeah.
he'll handle everything, Carl.
The thing is he liked the way the other company did
See
it.
Harper go to the.
No, they don't use it. They don't use it. They use who they use. That's their supply. They use who they use, and they don't use the company that was cheaper and then he liked better. So it is what it is.
I can ask C. Harper if he'll go there for the same price.
Mike?
They has to still be on the C Harper price sheet though, or we're back out of coastal.
Oh,
We have to make this so damn
Yeah, but we're
difficult.
just-
Can't we just get a truck?
Just get the truck.
We're buying a,
We should be happy. We're getting a
I
truck.
am happy.
we're buying a truck from C. Harper that
Already dressed.
includes everything.
All
Those
right,
cars.
get the truck from C.
Okay,
Harper.
I need to
End of deal.
rescind my previous motion then.
It has to be.
I have to rescind my previous motion to buy the truck without. Or do I just amend it? I amend it because I already put the price in
If
it.
C. Harper's willing to put on what he wants and
Yeah.
get us one bid.
So, yeah, through CoStars, yep, that's
Right
it.
there, there's your price.
So I amend my motion, or do I rescind it?
Rescind, make a motion, to rescind. Janice, put here, a motion to rescind the previous motion as this was emergency, whatever.
Okay, anyone, who seconded
Who made the
Larry?
who made the first?
Larry, I believe.
Oh my God.
You guys,
Okay, so you agree to rescind that original motion?
just make a motion.
I made the motion originally. He seconded it.
I make a motion to rescind my, yeah, so.
So can we make a motion to buy the 2 trucks that spec from C. Harper?
At the,
Just note that motion
under,
passed.
at the CoStar's price, already completed and ready to go at the
Right.
price of that. You need to put that.
120,000, 222. No change.
Per truck.
F
And that
600.
can come from
quoted from
Earl or
CoStar.
C. Harper, whoever has them available. Through CoStars. Done. And Ken is never invited back.
What's that?
You're never
You're
invited
never
back.
invited back. That was too long. You make the motion not to invite Ken? He made the motion, you're seconding it. So Larry made that motion, Suzanne seconded.
Now she has a
All
headache.
in favor? Aye.
Beautiful.
I want it noted that Suzanne was pushing to do that from the very beginning of this conversation, 20 minutes
She
ago.
was.
And-
I'm sorry.
She's trying to do that 20 minutes ago.
Financially, it was a better decision from the beginning.
And it was streamlined because all in one place. I don't even know if I can do this anymore. Okay.
Okay. DEI, motion to authorize DEI designs.
Okay, motion to authorize Bankston Engineering Incorporated to begin the design process for the Snee Road Bridge. Now, am I correct, the design process would be coming out of the grant money as well, correct?
Correct.
All right, just to keep that noted, that his design work will be coming out of the grant that we were awarded.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, we got a tie, I'm going with Suzanne, and then Larry's the second. She's ready to go. All in favor?
Aye.
That's a duplicate.
That is a duplicate.
Okay, next one.
Motion to approve the holding tank agreement for 42 Kennedy Road. So that is just an administrative thing, but because there's an escrow involved and stuff, it has to be marked in the minutes that there's someone going to install a holding tank at 42 Kennedy Road and by the agreement, put in the escrow and so forth. The agreement's prepared for by Mako and Associates.
I'll make a
Need a
motion.
motion?
We got two. We got a Suzanne and a Carl. All in favor?
Aye.
So, Overlook, that was Suzanne's thing, but she can probably wanted to know what Bankston maybe still needed to finish evaluating Overlook.
Yeah. So I was getting my folder out. Sorry. about
Perfect.
that. So I can send this to. What I'll do is I'll just send this list of questions to Janice, and because there's a couple things on here, we started to look into it and quickly ran into some questions. So we need a little bit, our office needs a little bit more information before we can finish our rate evaluation.
I took everything I could find about Overlook and I put it on the desk in that room.
Okay. Yeah, just questions about the Penvest loan and the number of grinder
There's
pumps
an
and that sort of
amortization
thing.
schedule in there.
Yeah,
Because
whatever-
unfortunately, there's a
whatever
few
you have.
amortization schedules and they were just listed by account, not necessarily projects. It took me a while to figure out that that one was the other.
Okay. Yeah, whatever you have will help us finish what we're trying to do.
Yeah, let us know. And Suzanne offered to help look through the documents that I had that acquire for you, whatever you need. Okay, approval of bills and approval of invoices dated January 21st, 2025 from the general fund in the amount of $219,863.67. Including the 119 for the Monongahela Police Department. Or police.
So moved.
Aye.
Once it was at the last quarter in 24.
It is the, is that the last quarter or is that the first quarter of this year?
What?
Do we pay the police before, like a cable bill, or are we paying them for the first
I
quarter? or
thought that was
first
for the
quarter?
whole year, I'm not real familiar.
Oh, no,
with
that's
that.
one quarter.
Oh, that's one quarter.
One quarter.
Is that for what? The fourth quarter for 24 or the first quarter?
I think it might be for.
No wonder you said you couldn't understand how they could give 24 hours.
Yeah.
So that you were looking at one quarter?
Yeah, so I would say that's for the first quarter.
Okay, good.
Okay, so, so, I don't know about this one. I have questions about that. Can I,
So,
do everything but that one?
does someone want to amend their,
No, that's only me. Somebody wants to approve all of them. I don't mind any of these. I just have a problem with McRow.
McRow?
I don't know, I don't know. I don't know where we're at with that. We just
Who's
keep getting.
McRow?
It's the underground fuel tank people. We just keep getting bill after bill after bill. I don't
Do
even
we have,
understand it anymore.
have you guys seen
We
invoices
approved
from McRow?
$8,500 and this is like the fourth time I've done it.
What are they doing now?
I don't think this is new.
McRow?
Nothing.
So why are they billing us for doing
Well, I
nothing?
think it's older bills.
It's older bills.
Well, you can,
One's like 8,000 something change, one's 1,300. Round numbers, I don't know for sure.
But I know we did other bills for
And
them.
they've been approved by the board months ago.
So, all I'm saying is, whatever, but
you can, if
can I make a motion that I, well.
the motion's already been made, am I correct?
Yeah.
And the second, so if you wanna vote aye except for that bill, you can do that.
Okay.
Just note that for the record.
I vote aye except for the McRow.
Who seconded? Carl?
I think Larry second.
What's the story with McRow? What are we doing?
I'm unclear on how many bills we've gotten from them and what everything was for. So,
Did you second Carl first?
I don't even
I think-
remember.
Carl first. Larry second.
Any further questions on the motion? If not, Michelle votes yes, except for that bill. Larry, how do you vote?
I don't understand. Then you can deal with Brian Rutter, Michelle.
No, I mean, if you get 4, if everyone says aye to everything, it passes.
Well, that's not the point.
the point is, I know that what I voted on to spend on the fuel tank and what we've already passed through this board
How much have we
about
spent
that fuel
totally?
tax.
I'm just curious if you knew.
I think somebody needs to go back and look at
Well, that's why I'm
What
saying
was-
no,
what
I
were
don't
the bill-
understand this bill anymore.
what we were billed by McRow, what we agreed to, what we paid, and maybe come back to us next month, we can just take care of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't figure it out. I just know that we did like a motion for 8,000 something. We've already given them checks for other stuff.
Unless the
Now, this one
1,300
is
is a
10.
duplicate, Michelle, I honestly don't know.
Then there's this 10,093, but I don't, it just seems like we've had
I think
multiple, I just
John-
don't understand it without looking.
I think Mr. Simon made a good recommendation. Maybe amend your motions to approve all the bills except for McRow, and then have the township manager review that for next meeting. That's the recommendation, Mr. Simon. So do you guys wish to amend your motions for that?
Sure.
Yeah. Alright, so the motion's been amended to approve all the bills except for McRow, subject to further review by the township manager as to the invoices / contract.
Okay. Everyone, in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Yeah. Approve the payroll dated 1/17/2025 in the amount of $26,313.66.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
I have one thing, Janice, and I apologize for this. I hate this to keep going on. January 6th regular meeting, I left early. I have to abstain from the part of the meeting minutes after I left. I mean, I can vote abstain on the whole thing, but I did. I stayed for the whole reorg, and I stayed for half of the regular scheduled meeting. What?
It was the night your aunt had a medical emergency.
Well, she died. Then my uncle had a stroke.
Trying to be nice.
Yeah, he had the medical emergency after she died in front of him, but yeah, that was that night. So I forgot that I had left early that night, so I just wanna make it that I voted yes on those meeting minutes. I like to abstain on the half that I missed. Okay, motion to adjourn, what time is
Hey,
it?
Michelle, can I ask you something real quick? And I think Kenny can agree on this. All this snow we're getting, you drive down these roads, the township roads are perfect. They look beautiful.
Yeah.
Why can't we get the state to take care of these roads?
Let me
The
tell you.
majority of the roads, the state roads in Union Township were never touched for, I'll say, 3 years.
I've
I don't know how
asked,
close I am on the time, but Kenny can probably.
I asked that same thing because Ken's son works for PennDOT, and I live on 88, as everyone knows.
88 is just as bad.
You drive down 88. My husband had to drive me home from the last meeting, and looking down the side streets, they were perfect. And I could not drive home from the last meeting.
We just saw this road. I mean, this road is clear from here to top to go. How do you take care of it? I mean, can't make it home to the state and ask why they're.
You go to Junior and read
You've got a haul too to get home, don't you?
I heard John say yes.
It's 9:05?
9:05.
Nobody adjourned yet.
You go to
We did, we're just kidding, we're talking to John said yes, John said yes. 9:05.